Why did it have to come to this? This was the question I kept repeating to myself as I lay on the ground beside him. Neither of us could move. We fought for hours, throwing our strongest techniques at each other. We fought till both of us had almost no chakra left. Still, we kept on fighting with our fists and our weapons, till even they ran out. Now I was known to be a stamina freak, but even I had my limit and I was reaching it soon. And how could I not? I fought the reincarnated shinobis who had unlimited chakra, unlimited stamina, and could regenerate from even the most lethal of the wounds. Then I fought the incomplete Ten Tails Jinchuriki Obito, and then I fought Madara Uchiha. Yes, Madara freaking Uchiha. And then, of course, I lost. The Nine Tails was ripped from me, and as a result, I died. Well, technically I was dead for a few minutes, but I went to the other side there. I met the Sage of Six Paths, the original Rikudo Sennin. He asked me a few questions and gave me his history of how Kaguya, his mother, ate the forbidden chakra fruit, how the Ten Tail was woken, how she went mad because of the power, and how he had to seal her away on the freaking moon, and how he defeated the Ten Tails and became its first container. Apparently, he created the Biju, nine-tailed beasts, from the chakra of the Ten Tails and his Rinnegan, which gave him the ability to create anything from chakra. He did this so that no one would unseal his mother and bring destruction upon the planet, as the Ten Tails were the key to unsealing her. After the history lesson, he asked if I still wanted to return and keep my promise of bringing peace. Giving him my obvious answer, he passed on his Sage of Six Paths chakra to me. Well, mostly his Yang chakra, as I was the reincarnation of Ashura, his son. He then revived me with the task of sealing the Ten Tails and preventing the resurrection of his mother. After I woke up, I realized I was too late. Madara had sealed the Ten Tails within him and had already completed his ultimate plan, his end game, the infinite Tsukuyomi, his plan for bringing peace. At first, I was surprised how I wasn't affected by the Tsukuyomi, but then I noticed the telltale signs of the Susanoo I was within. So he had survived, Sasuke, and he had saved me. I had hoped that he did it out of the kindness of his heart, but apparently, he too had a chat with the sage. The Sannin had given him the Een half of his chakra, as he was the reincarnation of Indra, the sage's oldest son, and also the Rinnegan which was in his left eye. Together, we both fought Madara for almost a week and were proving to be an even match for him, but then the Black Zetsu shoved a hand through his back and out of his chest. We were as surprised as Madara was. As he fell forward to the ground face first, Black Zetsu revealed who he truly was. As we had first assumed, he was not an extension of Madara's will but Kaguya's. He explained how he created a wedge between the sage's sons in the hope of unsealing Kaguya, as only those with the power of the sage could unseal her, but he proved to be unsuccessful. So instead, he waited for an opportunity that presented itself in the form of Hashirama and Madara, the reincarnations of Ashura and Indra, but he failed again as Hashirama refused to continue the cycle of hatred. So instead, he led Madara astray as he still held deep hatred within his heart since he had lost his brother, Izuna, in the war against the Senjus. Using this as his opportunity, Black Zetsu manipulated Madara to do his bidding for years and used him to release Kaguya. And by the looks of it, he had succeeded in doing so, as Madara had somehow transformed into Kaguya. The ensuing battle raged for another week or so. Though I was the one who was mainly doing all the fighting while Sasuke was supporting me as best as he could, because even with the power-up given to us by the sage, he still did not have the required physical endurance to last so long after fighting matter for a week. We had used all of our destructive techniques and created some new ones on the go, but they were never enough to put her down. So we had tried to seal her away back to the moon, but after she realized what we were up to, she destroyed the moon, the freaking moon. We truly had lost hope after that, but we still needed to fight her, not for ourselves, but for those who gave their lives believing in us. We had taken to fight her unknown as both of us were exhausted after 3 weeks of almost non-stop fighting. We would have no time to rest if we didn't. This was when we noticed it. She was slipping and making mistakes. I had assumed it was just overconfidence because we couldn't defeat her or seal her as she had destroyed the sealing container, i.e. the moon. But it was happening far too often to be true. Both of us retreated to plan a strategy and came up with an idea that could take her down. Sasuke theorized that she is slowly losing her mind. Similar to the time when the sage had fought her, a little push could finally make her go over the edge and go insane again. It was a bad idea. We knew that, but fighting an intelligent and calm enemy is harder than fighting a crazed one. The plan was that I would distract her long enough till Sasuke creates the moon again through his Rinnegan and seal her. The only problem was that Sasuke didn't have enough chakra to create something as big as a moon, and neither did I. So we came up with another, more dangerous plan. Seal her within me, then give enough chakra to Sasuke to recreate the moon. I still had the 8 trigram seal which had stored the 9 tails within me. It could probably hold her just long enough for Sasuke to recreate the moon again. With our course of action decided, we called upon our summons to assist us in the fight and end it once and for all. We fought for a couple of hours, mostly using hit and run tactics to make her agitated enough so we could capitalize on it. And our moment came when she was a little too focused on me and the summons for Sasuke to land a decisive blow on her, which we all capitalized on. Through lots of struggle and sacrifice of our summons, we were able to seal her within me. Now, have you ever had that feeling when you eat something too much too quickly and your stomach feels like it is bursting but contracting at the same time? I was having that feeling, only 1,000 times stronger. Through sheer will, I forced down the pain and started transferring the chakra to Sasuke, who immediately started to recreate the moon. But in doing so, an enormous amount of land was needed, so we had no choice but to crack the elemental nations apart and use that land to recreate the moon. After the moon was created, we began our sealing process. It took several hours to seal the Jubi's husk and Kaguya back in the moon. After the deed was done, I was left extremely tired, so I laid down on the ground looking at the moon in the sky. Sasuke stood beside me doing the same. We had won. We had finally done the impossible. We had defeated Kaguya Otsutsuki, the progenitor of Chakra, mother of the sage. It brought a smile on my face. But then I remembered the cost of doing so, and the smile was immediately gone. There was no one left, no Sakura, no Kakashi-sensei, no Hinata. No one was alive for us to celebrate. Everyone had died when the infinite Tsukuyomi was cast. They were absorbed into the giant god tree. Anyone who had chakra was pulled into the tree. It must have happened when we were fighting Kaguya. I realized then what we had done to create the moon. We had crushed the remaining population and sent them into space. We had not won. No one was left alive. Everyone I knew was dead. We had failed. I had failed. When I realized the true extent of the damage done, I couldn't help but close my eyes and let myself cry. I laid there for a few minutes, mourning the loss of my friends. When I opened my eyes, I could see Sasuke still standing near me, looking at the moon. "We lost," I said. He didn't reply. At first I thought he didn't hear me, but when he looked down and finally spoke, "I couldn't be more shocked you have to die," he said with a stoic face. "What?" El muttered. "One of us has to die for there to be peace." "Why?" I asked. "The two of us have a different definition of peace. If we both reconciled and work together, there will come a time when we won't agree with one another. It will be small at first, but it will start to escalate. And there will come a time in the future when we will have to fight again. It is better for us if we just do that right now." I couldn't believe what he was saying. After all the battles, after all that we had lost, after all that we had been through, he still didn't believe that we could achieve peace. "We will find a way. We will bring true peace," I argued. As I said, your idea of peace and mine aren't the same. While you would go about preaching peace and harmony, I on the other hand plan to rule over the nations and see to it that there is no more conflict, by force if necessary. But you would never agree with that. You will oppose me, and we will bring chaos in the world again. We will continue the cycle of hatred. So, for everlasting peace, one of us has to die. Our ideologies just differ too much from one another. "It doesn't have to be this way," I shouted. His reply was a solemn, "I have made up my mind." With that said, we both started our fight. I started with my most preferred technique, the shadow clones. They quickly surrounded me, and we moved as one to attack Sasuke, who was till now standing still. We all jumped on him with a Rasengan in each hand, but I noticed something was off and decided to back off a bit. My intuition was correct. As the clones converged on him, a massive fireball fell from the sky, dispelling them all. "You are not the only one who can use shadow clones," he taunted. I created 5 more clones and got into a taijutsu stance as Sasuke leaped on me. The fight was going well so far. I had long since learned a way to counter the Sharingan by using feints and tricks. The clone seemed to be doing a fine job of distracting him. Still, he was dispelling them too quickly for my liking. I created more clones and sicked some of them on him while I and the others prepared for our Rasengan barrage. As we all pounced on him shouting our attack's name, he was to be ready for us by the time we reached him. He had surrounded himself with spikes of the unholy flames that, the Amaterasu. The flame impaled all the clones, dispelling them. It was only because of my chakra shroud, which I activated at the last second, that I didn't get stabbed. I dashed forward to his face, but he blocked it using the skeletal arm of Susanoo. Using that hand, he pushed me away. The Susanoo started to grow bigger as muscles started to form around the skeleton structure. It did not stop there. The muscles grew armor then wings. When he was finally done, he was as big as a mountain. To match him, I began to enter the Nine Tails chakra mode. It was then I came to a terrible realization. I remembered that I no longer had Kurama in me for the tailed beast chakra mode, since for the transformation, an actual nine-tailed beast was needed to be sealed within oneself. For now, I could only use the shroud from the Sage of Six Paths mode to match him. It is better than nothing, I thought. As I activated the Sage of Six Paths mode, my body was covered with fire like golden chakra. My whisker marks morphed into 3 black bars. The whole ceiling array became visible, starting from my stomach and spreading throughout my body in thick black lines. I also gained the truth-seeking balls which hovered behind me in a vertical circle. By the time my transformation was over, Sasuke Susanoo had formed a crossbow and was shooting an arrow at me. I quickly motioned the truth-seeking balls to intercept the arrow. The explosion that followed shook the ground I was standing on. I quickly flew up and threw the giant ration shuriken I had formed using the claws provided by the chakra shroud. For once not need a clone to help me. The ration shuriken hit the Susanoo in the chest and expanded outwards, taking a huge portion of it out in the explosion. Now, a normal ration shuriken could not do so much damage to a Susanoo of this level, but add the Sage Chakra to it, and you have a strength technique capable of dealing heavy damage to even the complete Susanoo. As the giant hole in the Susanoo filled up by the chakra provided by Sasuke, I flew up to attack him using the truth-seeking balls as makeshift rods. By the time I reached him, he was already slashing his ethereal swords of the Susanoo towards me. I dodged the first one and blocked the second one in a crossguard. Giant cracks appeared on the sword from the point of contact. My truth-seeking balls caused severe damage to his Susanoo. At least I am not at a complete disadvantage. Trying to end the fight as quickly as possible, I combined the ration shuriken and the truth-seeking balls together and threw them at his head. He tried to fly up to avoid it, but he was a little slow, as instead of hitting his face, the ration shuriken exploded on his stomach. The explosion this time put the earlier one to shame. The entire Susanoo was caught in the explosion, and this time nothing of it remained. I had used most of my chakra for that attack and was now running on fumes, and it seemed that Sasuke had survived by reinforcing the Susanoo with as much chakra as he could. Without that, I doubt he would have come out of that explosion alive. The final fight between us ended the way it always does, a Rasengan versus a Chidori, but this time none of us pulled back. We were fighting on fumes. We didn't have enough chakra to perform even the basic academy techniques. This was our final clash. I could feel it. We didn't stop our attack even when both our hands started to bleed. We pushed on. At last, both our techniques ended, not because we wanted them to, but because we had both lost our arms and couldn't continue. We stood there staring at each other for what seemed like an eternity, but it couldn't have been more than a few seconds. Then, Sasuke smiled. Not his arrogant smirk, but an actual smile as he closed his eyes and fell back to the ground. I followed soon, falling beside him. "So this was your plan," I managed to mutter. He didn't want to rule the world as he had said he planned to. He just wanted to end his suffering, to let go. Bastard, I grunted as I gazed at the moon above. Sasuke had died the only way which I had never thought he would, with a smile on his face. I took a last look at his face and closed my eyes. The first thing I saw when I opened my eyes was a white ceiling without a speck of dirt on it. I had hoped I had finally passed on to the pure world where my family and friends were waiting for me, so I got up and looked around. But I was soon disappointed. There was no one here. None that I could at least sense. That was when I noticed the huge crystal suspended in midair at a fair distance from me, surrounded by curtains. I chose to walk over there and see what it contained, as I could make out a blurry outline from it. As I walked, I noticed the room was rather large and looked like some royalty lived here. Its color scheme appeared to be white and gold throughout the room. As I walked closer, I started to see what truly was inside the crystal. It was a humanoid figure in physique, with slicked-back dark hair, oval eyes, and very thin eyebrows. Its eyes were very unusual, consisting of 4 black circles which would change alignment. It did not seem to have any arms or legs beyond short stumps. It seemed suspended within an unusual barrier which was shaped like a crystal, connected to either side by bright white curtains as the focal point of a large, elegant room. As I got close, I heard a voice speaking and quickly looked around, but I was still the lone occupant of the room besides whatever this thing was. I am not a thing. I looked up, shocked that the thing in there was still alive. I repeat, I am not a thing. I quickly looked down in shame and apologized. I am the Soul King, he explained. So this was the afterlife. Yes, this is the afterlife, and I am its ruler. My purpose is to regulate the flow of souls into and out of the afterlife and keep the flow stable. Without me, the balance will be lost and all of existence will collapse. I looked wide-eyed. This Soul King seems to be quite powerful, as he was the linchpin of existence. Why am I here? Is this where all the dead come? I finally spoke for the first time after waking up. My voice seemed weird. No, this is not the place where souls arrive after they pass on. They usually go to the Soul Society, or Pure World, as your people call it. Are all my family and friends here? Can I finally be with them? I asked with some hope in my voice. No, they have all been reincarnated many times over through the soul cycle. It's what souls do when they die here. Their memories are wiped, and they are reincarnated into a new world as a new being. I looked down again, this time to hide my tears at the loss of my loved ones. It was then I noticed what he said. Many times over. What do you mean by that? It couldn't have been more than a few weeks since their passing. And that is why you are here. You are in the far future. The ones who had already died during your battle have passed on, but the ones who were absorbed by the soul tree are now inside you, since you had sealed the tree in you, and as they were quite a lot of them. The balance of the soul cycle was severely disturbed, and many souls had not joined the reincarnation cycle, so I had to intervene, and since a soul cannot house more than a few souls at a time, and yours was housing thousands of them, I had no choice but to take action. In the future, that was quite a shock, but more importantly, what did you do with the souls that were inside me? I released them from your soul in form of energy, but since they were so many of them, a little of residue was left behind by each of them, but even that was too much, so I had to get creative and modify your soul. What do you mean, modify my soul? Did you turn me into some sort of monster, and why did you go through all this trouble? Couldn't you just have let my soul die and release all the other souls into the reincarnation cycle? No, that would have been impossible. Think of it like this. Consider your soul as a drop of water in a bucket which is mostly empty. Now, after the sealing, the bucket was filled with millions of souls. Each of them had assimilated with your own. Now, they couldn't have been said as a different soul anymore. And if this bucket of the soul was to be dropped into the steady stream of the reincarnation cycle, what would happen? The stream would flood, I answered with wide eyes, understanding the implications, and its effect. It would cause an imbalance in the flow and disrupt everything that follows after it. Exactly. And to answer your previous question, no, I did not turn you into some kind of abomination. I merely merged your soul with the one who held almost the same strength as yours. Merged with who? I asked, even though I already knew the answer. I just didn't want it to be true, and the answer was exactly that I feared. Sasuke Uchiha. But why him? He just wanted it all to be over and pass on, I shouted with sadness in my voice. He was the only one with a soul strong enough to complement yours. He was the yin to your yang, the moon to your sun. He was the only choice, and sacrificing a single soul for the sake of millions was a choice I was willing to make, he answered with a stoic voice. What now? I asked with resignation in my voice. I will be sending you back in time. You have to make sure that the calamity you faced doesn't come to pass. You will be provided with assistance and false memories, so no one knows who you truly are. You can use the knowledge of the future to your advantage. You can't tell this conversation to anyone. No one will believe you anyway. There was some mirth in his eyes when he said that. You are no longer the son of Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Kamikaze. You are no longer the child of prophecy. The choices that you make will be of your own doing. What if I choose to not go back and die here and now? You don't have a choice in that matter. It has already been decided. Farewell. For now, I will be meeting you very soon. With that said, there was a bright flash, and Naruto disappeared from the room, leaving the Soul King alone at least until a figure warped into the room. So we meet again, Naruto, said the Soul King to the figure slowly walking towards him. How much time has it been since I last saw you? Enough time, came the vague reply. It's time, said Naruto after staring at the Soul King. When I woke up again, I was being carried by a man with red hair. The man seemed to notice I had woken up and stopped walking. He gently sat me on the ground near a tree and asked for my name. Naruto, I said. Hello, Naruto, I am Kaido. Before the conversation could proceed, L passed out. The next time I woke up, L noticed I was lying on a bed, and by the smell of it, I was in a hospital, my least favorite place. As I started to get up, I noticed that my hands had shrunk. I quickly got off the bed and nearly fell face first on the floor when my legs didn't touch the legs as L expected them to. I realized what had happened quickly. That damn Soul King had shrunk down to being a kid again. I quickly ran to the bathroom for a mirror to check what else he had changed. I quickly realized that my height was so small that I couldn't even see my face, only the reddish-black hair, that to only when I jumped high enough. But judging by my height, L seemed to be around 8 years old. I quickly washed my face and drank some water. When I turned to go back to the room, I noticed a man standing there. I quickly turned red with embarrassment as I saw the man smiling at me. I would have looked quite stupid jumping up and down in front of a mirror. As I returned to the bed, without making eye contact with the man, he finally spoke. I am Kaido. You are that man I talked with near the tree. Oh my God, my voice sounds childlike and shrill. Yes, I am, he replied with mirth dancing in his eyes. How did I get here? L asked, looking around the room. I found you drifting near the beach, unconscious. Where am I? Kaido gave me a funny look before answering. You are in Yazushio, Naruto. I widened my eyes in shock. Yazushio had been destroyed during the Second Shinobi War, but if it still existed, then it could mean only one thing. I was transported to a time before the Second Shinobi War. Are you okay, Naruto? You seem shocked. I am okay, was my quick reply. I am surprised that I made it here. I didn't mean to say that. What was happening to me? What do you mean by that, and how did you get here? I didn't see anyone else besides you. There wasn't even a boat nearby. My boat got caught up in the whirlpools and was destroyed. How did L know to say that? Then suddenly there was a searing pain through my head, and L got all these memories of a life I had never lived, of a mother and a father that I never had. I had false memories of a life that I never lived. The pain seemed to wash away after I lived through all the memories. It seems this was the false memory transplant that the Soul King talked about earlier. As I raised my head, saw Kaido again, I could see concern for me in his eyes. It was weird seeing someone so concerned for me. It made me feel happy. Are you okay? Should I call in a nurse? Noel replied with as big of a smile I could give to ease his concern. Just some headache. Elle should be all right. You know, I have a daughter who's just about your age. Really? I exclaimed and tried to act like an excited little kid while I get to meet her. Sure, why not? She will love to have a new friend. Now, how did you reach here, if you don't mind me asking? Oh, Elle took a boat and followed the directions my mother told me to. This fake memory thing is coming real handy now. And what is your mother's name? Kaido seems to be fishing for information. Well, Elle would too if an 80-year-old suddenly showed up in my village with mysterious circumstances. Katsumi, that's what my father sometimes called her. And what's your father's name? Hiroto. No last name. Well, Elle can't exactly say Uchiha, and Uzumaki now can Elle. Elle don't know. They never told me. It was for my safety, they said. It was at this moment the nurse entered. She too had red hair. It seems what they said about all Uzumakis having red hair was true. The result is here. She spoke in a way as she was speaking to her Kage, with extreme respect and admiration. Thank you, was the curt reply she from Kaido, after which she left the room. After looking through the report, he flashed a smile at me and said, well, your parents were truly keeping you safe. What do you mean? I asked, not knowing what he meant. What's in the report? It says you are an Uzumaki. It says you are an Uzumaki, Kaido said with a happy smile on his face. Well, partly Uzumaki. What does that mean? Is it something bad? Naruto asked, even though he knew who Uzumakis were. But as he was playing the part of an 80-year-old brat who knew nothing of the clans, he had to act as unknowledgeable as possible. No, it is a good thing. It would also explain how your mother knew the directions to Yuzusho. Kaido seemed quite happy that this was the case, as it cancelled out the probability of Naruto being a spy. How so? Naruto asked. Well, mostly. Only the Uzumakis know the directions and ways to overcome the whirlpools surrounding our island. And considering your mother knew the directions, she must be an Uzumaki too, Kaido explained. You still haven't explained what an Uzumaki is? Naruto asked. The Uzumaki is a clan prominently based in Yuzushiogakure, village hidden in whirlpools. We are distant blood relatives of the Senju clan, and as such have close relations with them. We Uzumaki pride ourselves on being the best Fuinjutsu master in the elemental nation, Kaido said with a hint of pride in his voice. And I am a part of this clan? Naruto asked with childlike enthusiasm, still playing the role of a small child. Yes, you sure seem to be, Kaido said, still a happy smile on his face at meeting a new relative. That's awesome, exclaimed Naruto. Now where are your parents? We will like to meet them and invite them into our family of Yuzusho. My father died when I was 3. He was very ill at that time, Naruto said with a sad look on his face, and I don't know where my mother is. She had said that if she didn't return by the night, then to leave in the directions that she had taught me. Even though these all were fake memories, Naruto, being such an empathetic person, couldn't help but let tears flow. I lost my family. Kaido, seeing such a sad child, couldn't help but put a hand on his head to reassure him. Don't worry, everything will be all right. After saying that, he got up from his place on the bed and said, rest now. I will see you again tomorrow morning. After saying that, he walked out of the hospital room. Naruto, seeing Kaido leave the room, decided to rest for now, as it wasn't every day that you get 8 years worth of memories of someone else's life. So is he telling the truth? Asked the old man, stroking his gray beard that reached his stomach. He seemed to be bald, having lost his hair due to old age. He doesn't seem to be lying. I was keeping a close eye on his chakra fluctuations the entire time, Kaido replied with a serious expression. The old man hummed, then continued the test, said that he is an Uzumaki, but all of us have red hair. It's how we are recognized. For him to have that blackish red hair, his father must have had some extremely powerful genes. What should we do now? Asked Kaido. We will keep an eye on him for suspicious activity. Is that necessary? He is just an 80-year-old boy, and he is an Uzumaki too, Kaido tried to argue. Yes, you are right, but we should remain careful. A war is on the horizon, or have you forgotten about that? No, I haven't, said Kaido, but that doesn't mean we should stop helping our kin. Sighing, the old man said, I know. Continuing, the old man said, you are to take care of him from now on. He will be staying with you from now on. You are to be his sensei. With a powerful chakra like his, not teaching him would be a crime. Besides, your daughter will love to have a playmate. The last part was said with a smile on the old man's face. Yes, Yuzukage-sama, Kaido replied with a smile on his face. You don't have to call me that when we are alone. I am your father after all, the old man replied with a fake annoyed face. I know, but seeing how much it irritates you, I choose to do it anyways. With that said, Kaido disappeared in a shunshin. Damn brat, always disrespecting me. When Naruto woke up the next morning, he laid in his bed thinking about all those he had lost, but quickly banished those thoughts. I am in the past, he reminded himself, and none of it has happened yet, and it won't happen again if I have any say in the matter. As he got up, he noticed that a tray of breakfast has been kept on the table near his bed along with a pair of clean clothes. Deciding to start his day, he quickly went to the bathroom to freshen up. There he saw a small stool for him to stand on so he can look into the mirror. Excited to finally see how he looked like, he quickly climbed it and looked surprised at what he was seeing. His face looked more like Sasuke, albeit a quite younger one with all the baby fat on his cheeks. Speaking of cheeks, he seemed to have lost his whisker marks, and in its place was unblemished pale skin. His eyes too seemed to have changed, but not that much, as he still had those blue eyes, but specks of purple seemed to have been mixed with it. It could have been worse, Naruto thought. At least my face is not a horrid mix of me and Sasuke. Still, I like my whisker marks. After freshening up, Naruto stared in the mirror with an inquisitive look on his face. I wonder if I have the Sharingan, he thought while staring at his eyes. The Soul King did say that he merged my soul with Sasuke before he brought me here, so it stands to reason that I may very well have the Sharingan. Now how did he activate those eyes? Naruto thought back to how Sasuke activated the eyes. Oh right. Naruto seemed to have remembered a lesson by Kakashi-sensei. Apply chakra to your eyes till there is a tingling sensation, and after doing just that his eyes seemed to have changed from bluish-purple to the Sharingan. He stared at them in shock as he followed the single tomo which spun in each of his eyes hypnotically. There was just a single tomo in each eye, but still, I have the freaking Sharingan. Hearing the sound of a door opening, he quickly cut the chakra to his eyes and jumped down from the stool to see who his visitor was. It seemed that Kaido had come to visit again. "Good morning," he said in his usual happy smile. "Did you sleep well?" "Yes," I replied with a smile of my own. "I see you haven't had your breakfast yet," he pointed out while looking at the breakfast on the table. "I was just freshening up," I replied with a pout on my face. "It's okay. Take your time," he said as he took a seat on the chair nearby. "So what is going to happen to me now?" Naruto asked after finishing his breakfast and wearing the new clothes which were given to him. "I talked with the Uzukage and he assigned me as your guardian and your sensei, but in return, you will have to become a great ninja and bring pride to our nation. Are you willing to do that?" "Yes," I shouted with enthusiasm. "I will be the greatest ninja of all time," Naruto declared with as much conviction as he could. "Good. Now come. You will be staying with me from now on," as he said that he started to walk out of the room, so I quickly ran after him to catch up with him. "Are you a ninja too?" Naruto asked, curious of who Kaido was. "Yes, of course I am a Jonin and a level 15 seal master." "What does Jonin mean?" Naruto asked, again acting ignorant to the terms he already knew but couldn't show, since that will seem suspicious. "Okay, time for your first lesson," declared Kaido. The ranking system of the ninjas of every village are usually divided into 3 types. The first is the Genin. They are usually the ones who have passed from the ninja academy where they study for 4 years. The starting age for the academy is 6 years old. They stay in the academy till they reach 10 years of age and pass the academy exam, or if the student is very intelligent, in which case, he is passed more early so special attention can be given to him. Now Genins are usually teamed up in groups of 3. Naruto tuned out the rest of his sensei lesson as he already knew all about the ranking system. Instead, he was looking around, taking in the pleasant scenery. The road on which they were walking was filled with shops of all kind. There was a lot of hustle-bustle as people were doing their shopping and talking with one another. Most people whom Naruto met had red hairs. Some smiled when they crossed paths, and he smiled back at them, liking the peaceful atmosphere and the good vibe this place held. By the time they reached Kaido's house, it was already afternoon. His house was located on a quiet part of the island. He seemed to have finished his lesson about the ranking system of the ninja world. "I am home," he announced, but he couldn't get even a foot in before a red blur crashed into him, screaming "Tusan." Before I could take a look at the red missile, which was now hugging Kaido, a beautiful red-haired woman came to the door with one of the most beautiful smiles I had ever seen. "Looks like she got you again," she said with a giggle. Then her eyes turned to me, and I couldn't help but look down in embarrassment as she seemed to have caught me staring at her. "Is he the boy you talked about?" she asked with the smile still on her face. There was a muffled yes from Kaido, who was still on the floor. She walked towards Naruto, who was still looking down at the floor in embarrassment. "Hello there," she spoke in a soft voice, "and who might you be?" I slowly looked up and answered meekly, "I am Naruto. Nice to meet you." After saying that, I quickly looked down again. "Nice to meet you too," she said with a smile still on her face. Kaido seemed to have finally gotten up from the floor with the red blur, who turned out to be a small girl around Naruto's age. "Naruto, meet my lovely and beautiful wife, Kana Uzumaki," he said, motioning at the young woman. "And this is my pride and joy, my daughter that I talked to you about." Pointing to the girl who was now hiding behind his leg and peeking at Naruto. "Go on, introduce yourself," Kaido said as he gently nudges his daughter forward. The girl came forward with a hand still holding Kaido's pants in a vice grip. "Wait a minute," She looks quite familiar, Naruto thought as he tried to remember who she looked like. But by the time he got the answer, he was too late. The girl had already started to speak. Hello, my name is Kushina. I am 7 years old. I love my Tusan and Kazan. I also love to eat ramen. And when I grow up, I be the greatest ninja of all time. She exclaimed the last part as loudly as she could. But Naruto didn't hear any of that. He had stopped listening as soon as she said her name. Now he knew why she looked so familiar. She is my mother. She is my mother. After she said her name, Naruto tuned out everything else that she said. His eyes seemed to be opened extra wide and shook of this revelation. Okay, I need to cool down and pay attention to her. I will deal with this whole matter later. Be the greatest ninja of all time, she shouted the last part as if declaring it to the world. Funny, I said the same thing to Kaido, like mother like son, I guess I thought. Hey, that's exactly what Naruto said to me. It's same word to word, Kaido exclaimed, seemed to be shocked as Kushina's and Naruto's goal were same. It seems that you have a rival for the title of the greatest ninja, Kushina-chan, Kana said, in a teasing manner. Kushina, too, seemed to be shocked for a small time, but she recovered quickly and declared, from now on you are my rival. She looked so cute when she said that, with eyes wide open, nostrils flaring and determination clearly visible in her purple eyes. So caught up with her determination, Naruto couldn't help but reply, I accept. I will definitely defeat you and become the greatest and the strongest ninja ever, believe it. Now if the rivals have finished with their rivalry, the ramen is getting cold, Kana said, breaking Naruto's concentration from Kushina the moment he heard ramen. 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 2 consecutive shouts rang through the house. Naruto and Kushina once again locked eyes with each other. While these two seem to have quite a lot in common, don't they? Kaido commented with wide eyes. Seem like they are made from the same cloth, Kana replied in a joking manner. Finally snapping out of his staring contest with Kushina and realizing what he had done, Naruto immediately bowed, apologizing to both of the adults present. Kaido-san, Kana-san, I am sorry for coming in your house and shouting so loudly and causing ruckus when you were being so kind to me. Please forgive me. Naruto, you don't have to bow. You just got excited and couldn't help yourself with Kushina's provocation. You are still a child. If you won't act childish, then who will? And don't think of it as our house. You are also a member of this family. Now think of this as your house too, Kana said, kneeling in front of Naruto and giving him a small peck on his cheek. And don't call me Kana-san. You make it sound like I am an old lady. You can call me Obasan. Yes, Obasan, he said, looking down on the ground, embarrassed from the kiss. Yash, Naruto, exclaimed Kaido. You can call me Kaido Ajisen from now on. He then gave a weird pose, causing everyone to start laughing. Okay, that's enough fooling around. Go freshen up. The ramen is really getting cold. Naruto followed Kaido to the bathroom, where both of them freshened up. After eating the ramen and complimenting Kana for making such a delicious dish, Kaido finally spoke. Okay, Naruto, since today is your first day, there will be no training for you today, but starting tomorrow you are going to train every day. For now, go play with Kushina. She gets lonely here sometime. Okay, Ajisen, getting up and following Kushina, who till now was waiting by her father's side. Halfway to her room, Kushina seemed to have gotten really excited for finally having a playmate, so she caught Naruto's hand in hers and ran the rest of her way to the room, dragging Naruto behind her. She seems quite happy to finally have a playmate, Kana commented, while looking at Kushina drag Naruto to her room. Yes, she does. At least I don't feel like a total failure of a father now, Kaido said with a sad smile on his face. I never considered you a failure as a father. You are the best father a child could dream of, Kana said, reassuring him. If I wasn't, then she wouldn't have to be home all the time. She could have joined the academy like all the girls her age and made new friends, but since I am the only one who is still alive and of the royal blood, it is my obligation to follow the orders, Kaido said with an unreadable expression. You didn't have any choice. It was for the village, Kana said, still trying to reassure him even though she felt the same way. I may be a successful shinobi, but I really am a failure as a father. Kana couldn't do anything more than hug him and share his pain. The room which Naruto entered behind Kushina was fairly huge. It was colored light blue with a white ceiling. It had a study table in the corner with scrolls spread open across it. Above the table were shelves filled with scrolls, Probably Fuinjutsu scrolls, Naruto thought as he looked over it. The room had 2 beds which were placed parallel to one another, and one of it looked like it had recently been moved here for me, I guess. Kushina dragged him near the box which was besides the table and started to pull out toys from it. She looked really happy to show them to Naruto while talking inanimately about each toy she pulled out. Play with. Naruto finally noticed that she had stopped talking and was asking him a question. Sorry, can you repeat that? Naruto asked, embarrassed to have zoned out. I asked, which toys do you want to play with? Kushina asked again with a pout on her face. Holy sage. She looks so cute, Naruto thought with a small smile. Why don't we play together? Really? Kushina screamed, seemingly happy to finally have someone to play with. Of course, we will play any game that you want, Naruto replied. Even though mentally, he was an adult and didn't really like to play children's game. He really didn't want to see Kushina sad, so he just went along with it and played with her till dinner time. At the dinner table, they all sat together facing each other with Kushina sitting by Naruto's side and Kaido sitting beside Kana. The dinner was delicious and Naruto made it a point to announce that after every new dish he tasted. After the dinner was over, Kaido, Naruto, and Kushina were sitting at the back porch facing the huge lawn. Kana couldn't come because she was washing the dishes. Naruto had offered to help, but she declined, saying that she liked doing household chores. So, will I be joining the academy? Naruto asked, wondering how will he be trained. No, I'll be training you personally just like Kushina here. It's because you have passed the age at which the academy training begins. Oh, okay, Naruto said, but why doesn't Kushina attend the academy? It's because she is special. Aren't you my little angel? Kaido answered vaguely and deflected the question. He didn't answer my question, Naruto thought, but decided to ignore it for now. After sitting and chatting with Kushina about her hobbies, likes, dislikes, and such, it was already time to sleep. Okay, kids, time for bed, Kaido said, while starting to rise up from his sitting position. We will start the training from 7 in the morning, so be sure to sleep quickly. After he said that, both Naruto and Kushina got up and went to bed, but not without brushing their teeth, as Kana was quite adamant about it. The next morning, Naruto woke up early and started his day by brushing his teeth and got ready to take a bath. While he was getting ready, Kaido had swung by and told him he had bought him a couple of new clothes since he didn't own any of his. After thanking him, which he just waved off, Naruto took a pair of clean clothes which were pressed and neatly folded from the wardrobe which was on the left side of the room. As he was removing his clothes for taking a bath, he noticed a small seal on his left shoulder. Applying a small amount of chakra to it, he was surprised to see an envelope in his hat. It must be some sort of storage seal, Naruto thought. As he opened the envelope, he noticed that it was a letter named for him. If you are reading this letter, it means that you have found the seal on your arm. Don't worry about the seal. It is just a time-based storage seal. Most people would never even be able to see it. The seal has various items in it, and as you grow up, you will be able to access them all. But for now, it will give you nothing until the time for you to get it has passed. If you are wondering why I am helping you so much, don't. I am not doing it out of the kindness of my heart. You are merely my investment, and when the time comes, you will be my salvation. But let's keep that discussion for another time. Within this paper is another storage seal which consists books containing most of the information regarding an energy known as Ryatsu. The books will mostly teach you about what Ryatsu is, how it is produced, how to control it, and how it is used. So I would advise you to read and understand everything in those books, as they will be basics on which the future books are based, and without the basics mastered, you will not be able to advance forward. I would suggest you not to disclose these books to anyone, as in the wrong hands they would cause untold destruction. You may store them back in the seal of your arm, but I would not suggest that as a long-term option. Now, that being said, transfer your energy to the seal on this envelope when you are ready. This letter will be destroyed as soon as you do so. After reading the letter once more with the Sharingan active so that he could memorize it, Naruto applied chakra to the seal at the bottom right of the page, and with a pop, more than 10 books fell on the bathroom floor, and the envelope was burnt without leaving any ash behind. As he was about to pick up the books, there was a knock at the bathroom door. Naruto, are you all right? I heard a loud noise. Did you fall down? Came the concerned voice of Kana from the other side of the door. I am all right, Naruto replied quickly, and he picked up the books that stored them back in his seal. I just slipped a little. Do you want me to come in and look at you? No. Naruto said, embarrassed. I didn't get hurt. Okay. If you say so. After that, she went back to do whatever she was doing. Phew. That was close. I need to be more careful. After having sealing back all the books, Naruto quickly took a bath and finished his breakfast and sat beside Kaido, who was again sitting at the back porch overlooking the lawn. Are you ready for your first day of training? Yes. Naruto answered with lots of enthusiasm. Good. Kushina is just finishing up her breakfast. She will be here quickly. As soon as he said that, Kushina ran towards them yelling, I am ready. Now that Kushina is here, we can start our training. The first exercise was running along the lawn, which was not small by any comparison. It also included a lake. For 20 rounds, it was mostly to an warm-up and a stamina-building exercise. Then came strength-building exercises. It mostly consisted of push-up, sit-ups, and various other exercises to strengthen the body. Followed by that was ninja tools training, like throwing kunais and shurikens, practicing aim, and all the other basics. This is similar to the way they taught us in the academy. Naruto thought while he was practicing shuriken throwing. He would purposefully miss 3 of his 10 shots so he wouldn't appear suspiciously skilled at it. So far, Naruto had not even broken a sweat, as these all were pretty basic exercises for him. And Kaido seemed to have noticed that too. By the time the theory lessons had started, Kushina was covered in sweat and was now glaring at him. How are you not even out of breath? I am sweating buckets here, Kushina asked, irritated to know that he had not even broken a sweat yet. I guess I am just that awesome. Naruto replied with a shrug. That's enough, you two. Now pay attention, Kaido admonished. With a quick sorry sensei, we continued our lessons. Kushina seemed to in her own world by now, as she was just looking at Kaido without actually listening to anything he said. But Naruto was paying rapt attention and even asking few questions of his own. Suddenly, the working of chakra, how hand signs are made, and the mechanism behind them seemed to be very interesting to Naruto. Since in his last life, he too had not paid attention in class during the lectures, and look how he ended up. Because of that, Naruto had decided to be as serious as possible when it came to studying. By the time the lecture was over, Naruto had learned more from Kaido than he had learned during his time in the academy. It was already noon, so they had decided to take a lunch break and head back inside where Kana had delicious lunch ready. After the lunch break came the Fuinjutsu lessons, which was held in the library. Kushina shined in this class as she just had an innate talent for the art, while Naruto had to start with calligraphy to polish his strokes and his handwriting, so he didn't make mistakes while making any seals. After the Fuinjutsu lessons were over, Naruto and Kushina were free to do as they pleased. Kushina mostly wanted to play while Naruto wanted to do some more reading, but he couldn't say no to Kushina's puppy dog eyes and wounded up playing with her for an hour or so, after which he would go back to the library and use the Sharingan to memorize the books given to him by the Soul King. But the problem was that those books were huge. Each book contained more than 5,000 pages, and he couldn't memorize more than 400 pages in the time frame of 4 hours, after which he would have dinner and read one of the books from the library till sleep overtook him. This same timetable continued for a week, until Kaido had decided to advance from the basics, at least for him. So how is young Naruto coming along with his training? Asked the Uzukage. A week had already passed since Naruto's training, and Kaido had come to report his progress. He is good. He picks up things quite easily, so teaching him is quite an easy job. He seems to have lots of stamina, as he doesn't even break sweat when doing exercises now. His chakra capacity is also quite high. He has as much chakra as in Jounin. It's almost thrice the amount I had when I was his age. That's a lot of chakra for his age. He seems to be very interested in reading book about any topic he could find on. So far, he has even read some high-class stuff, and his questions are becoming difficult to answer too. I at least know he is not understanding everything he reading, as quite often he would come to me and ask to explain him stuff he doesn't understand. So keeping all this in mind, I have decided to advance his training. Isn't it too early to teach him the advanced stuff? It has been only a week. Why don't you take it slow? It would be unfair for him if I just try to teach him stuff at Kushina's level. He had already surpassed her in strength and knowledge by the 3rd day. The only thing he is lagging behind is in Fuinjutsu. That too because he is still learning calligraphy. But once he is decent enough in that, it will not take him much time to reach and surpass Kushina in Fuinjutsu too. And talking about taking it slow, Weren't you the one who said not teaching that kid would be a crime? Sighing, the old man replied, do as you think it is fit for the boy. You don't have to come here to tell me that you are advancing him again, else we will be meeting here very often. As you wish, Yuzaki-sama. I told you not to call me that when we are alone, yelled the Yuzaki, but Kaido had already disappeared via Shunshin. Damn brat, muttered Yuzaki as he returned to doing the thing which was the bane of every Kage, the paperwork. As he reached his house, he saw Naruto out in the garden watering the plants. Now that was something he hadn't expected. Anytime Naruto got free time, he would either spend it in the library reading or spending time with Kushina. So for him to not doing either of that, it was quite suspicious. I'll ask Kana what happened. She ought to know, he thought. He noted at Naruto, who was watering the plants, and headed inside. Kana, did something happen? Why is Naruto watering? Before he could finish his question, he saw Naruto sitting on the sofa reading a book. Now this seemed normal, Naruto reading books, but he had just met him outside watering the plants. Was he hallucinating? Trying to find Kana to get some answers, he came across Naruto again, this time in Kushina's room playing with her. Am I actually hallucinating? Kana. This time he shouted the name and got a responsive in here from the kitchen. He quickly made his way to the kitchen, where he again saw Naruto helping Kana to cook. Arto okay, Ajisen? Naruto asked. Kana turned, and after seeing the expression on Kaido's face, she asked, are you alright, dear? Is there something wrong? I am hallucinating, Kana. Kaido explained with a hand on his forehead, I am seeing Naruto everywhere. I must be going insane. Kaido explained. Don't be silly, dear. Naruto just learned the Shadow Clone's jutsu. They are all his clones. Kaido sighed, that must be it. I am not going mad. Kaido seemed relieved that he wasn't going insane. Wait a minute. How did he learn the Shadow Clone jutsu? This time, instead of Kana answering, it was Naruto, who answered. While looking through the library, the boss came across the scroll containing the jutsu, and it seemed easy and useful enough to be mastered, so he did just that. Wait, I was gone for less than an hour. Kaido exclaimed, how did you learn that technique so quickly? As I said, the technique was quite easy to learn after going through the scroll and following its instructions. You can talk to the boss if you have any questions. He is in the library practicing calligraphy with others. You are a clone? Kaido asked, surprised, as it was almost impossible to discern the original from the clone. The clone just noted, he created me to help Konoha-san. Such a sweet boy, isn't he? Kana said sweetly. Kaido just nodded dumbly and headed to the library. There he saw 6 Naruto sitting in line and practicing calligraphy, and another reading a book on the table. I see you have found the Shadow Clone's jutsu, stated Kaido. The one sitting on the ground didn't even look up, while the one sitting on the table turned to him. Yes, quite a useful technique, isn't it? I found it when I was reading some jutsu scrolls to try to understand how they work. The real Naruto replied. Useful, but a DD technique. If you overuse it, you will die of chakra exhaustion. If not, then the memory relay of so many clones popping at once will fry your brain. Kaido warned Naruto about the downsides of the technique and why it was considered a kinjutsu, forbidden technique. Yes, I read about that too, but I am careful when using it. The maximum number of clones I can create are 15, and only after that I really start feeling the effects. And if I pop one clone at a time and wait for a few minutes after popping the next one, then I don't have to overload my brain with excess information, Naruto explained. Even though 15 was not his limit, he had to keep the number low as to not worry Kaido. So you have all your bases covered. That good, Kaido said, dropping the topic of Shadow Clone as Naruto seemed responsible enough in using them. I am going to start advancing your training, as you seem have already surpassed Kushina. Starting tomorrow, I will be increasing your endurance training. I will also be teaching you kinjutsu, sword techniques, as you seem to have already mastered the usage of basic ninja tools. And since you seem to have learned the Shadow Clones, teaching you Fuinjutsu will be much more easier. I will be training you without mercy, as you seem be able to handle it quite well. I now have very high expectations from you, Naruto, and I really hope you don't disappoint me. I won't, was the only reply he gave, and it was enough of an answer for Kaido. Starting next day, Kaido had made Naruto run 20 laps, only this time, he had made Naruto wear weight seal, which increased his weight almost double. He was to only remove this seal when he was going to sleep, as to give his body time to recover. Followed by that was Kinjutsu training. Kaido made a clone to teach Kushina while the original instructed Naruto in the sword arts, and another clone was teaching a group of Naruto clones the basics of tree walking, and after lunch Kaido had finally started teaching Naruto Fuinjutsu after he had achieved an acceptable level of handwriting. Within only a month Naruto had improved by leaps and bounds. His weight seal had been increased to 3 times his body weight as his body had already strengthened and the previous seal was useless on him. He had already mastered the basics of Kenjutsu and could now at least handle on his own in the spars. Naruto had also remastered the tree walking and the water walking exercise and was now moving to advanced chakra control techniques. Seeing Naruto advance so fast, Kushina had also started making actual effort in her training, but she still couldn't be taught shadow clones to increase her training time because she didn't have enough chakra to safely perform them. Naruto's Fuinjutsu level had also increased as he could now create storage seals, weight seal, exploding tag, and other basic seals. With the help of shadow clones and his Sharingan, Naruto had managed to read every scroll in the library along with a single book which was given to him by the Soul King. Memorizing and understanding is not the same, Naruto had realized, so he had started doing meditation as to really understand what he had memorized, due to which he now had a deeper knowledge of chakra and was starting to understand what Ryatsu was. Triple X after 2 years. Triple X. By the time Naruto had reached 11 years of age, he had mastered everything he was taught by Kaido. He had even come a long way in nature transformation after learning that he had an affinity for fire, wind, and lighting. But since Kaido had affinity for water and lighting, he could only teach Naruto lighting manipulation, which he mastered quite quickly with the help of shadow clones, which now he could make 50 off. Naruto didn't need help in wind manipulation as he had already mastered that in his past life. He just needed to polish it back and improve upon it, which he did. Naruto had also learned water manipulation from Kaido, but since water was not his main affinity, he had some difficulty using it. He had left fire manipulation for a later time as there were not a lot of people with fire affinity in Yuzu. Naruto had also mastered Kenjutsu to a level where he could give Kaido a run for his money. He had even made some of his own moves to better complement himself. Naruto was now a level 10 Fuinjutsu master, which was quite an achievement for his age, and no one in Yuzu could boast to have done the same at his age. Kaido was very proud of him, and he couldn't have been more prouder when Naruto showed him the Rasengan. Kaido was extremely impressed that Naruto had enough understanding of chakra to create his own jutsu. Naruto, with the help of shadow clones and his Sharingan, which had now evolved to its maturity, containing 3 tomo in each, I had read 4 of the books given to him by the Soul King. He now knew what happened when people die, what Ryatsu was, how it was generated, how to control it, how it was involved in making of the Kido, demon arts, which involved Hado, way of destruction, and Bakudo, way of binding, which were used by the Shinigami as some sort of spells in dispelling hollows. He couldn't yet use these Kido as they required a different energy than chakra. They needed the spiritual energy, also known as Riryoku, to perform them, and as chakra was a mixture of both physical and spiritual energy, he needed to use yin-yang release to separate them, after which he could use yin release as a way to perform Kido. That is what at least he had theorized using his current knowledge. But the problem was that there was no one who he knew of that could use the yin-yang release, so he was stuck with only learning the theory for now. Kushina too had progressed quite a lot. After she turned 8, she was finally taught the shadow clone jutsu, but she couldn't make more than 3 at a time, but they still helped her move forward with her training. She didn't learn chakra control in deep, but she was still explained the theory behind it. She only seemed to be wanting to train in her Kenjutsu skills and her Fuinjutsu, which she had achieved a level 8 mastery of in the 2 years. This was also the time where Naruto discovered why she didn't attend the academy. Kaido had told him that she was going to be sent to the Leaf Village and become a Jinchuriki for the 9 Tails, as the current Jinchuriki, Mido Uzumaki, the wife of the Shodame Hokage, Hashirama Senju, was on her deathbed, as she had lived well past 100 years and was dying of old age. Naruto, after listening to that, had offered to go in Kushina's place to become a Jinchuriki, as he had already been in Jinchuriki once. One more time didn't make any difference to him, but he was quickly shot down by Kaido as he explained that since he was the youngest son of the Uzukage and was of a royal lineage who possessed a special type of chakra, which allowed him, and by extension, Kushina, to restrain the tailed beasts. It was her duty to go and become its Jinchuriki for the alliance of the two villages. Kushina seemed to be aware of this too and didn't want to follow through with it, but she had no choice in the matter. Naruto, after listening to this, had decided to go with Kushina to the Leaf Village so that she at least won't be lonely in a foreign village. At first, Kaido had flat out refused him, but as Naruto explained that after everything that Kaido had done for him, this was the least he could do for him, protect his daughter. Kaido had agreed and had a talk with the Uzukage. He too agreed, but only at one condition. If he could prove that he was strong enough to protect Kushina, only then will he be allowed to go. Naruto didn't even hesitate in accepting the challenge. So now, to prove himself worthy, he was having a fight with Jounin of Uzukage's choice. In the center of the training field, Naruto was standing dressed in black shirt and black pant, which was taped off at the ends. He had a weapons pouch attached on his left thigh, along with Entanto on his back. "You can do it, Naruto. I believe in you," Kushina yelled from where she was standing next to her father and mother. Naruto just looked at her and smiled, deciding not to speak. "If you manage to defeat him, Naruto, I will allow you to go with Kushina," the Uzukage said, pointing at the boy who looked to be 17. Again deciding not to talk, Naruto just nodded. "This is Ruta Uzumaki," he explained. "The match will continue until either one accepts defeat, gets knocked out, or can't fight anymore. Use of lethal and crippling strikes are to be avoided at all cost. This is just a friendly match." After having explained the rules, the Uzukage looked at the two combat ants for any doubts. After no receiving any, he shouted, "Begin." As soon as the match started, Naruto jumped in the air towards Ryuta, seemingly wanting to start a taijutsu fight, but as he got closer, instead of throwing a punch, he made a hand sign and brought his hand near his mouth and exhaled a huge breath of air, twice his size. Wind released giant air missile. Ryuta quickly took out a scroll and wrote a seal on its sealing technique, wind sealing, and pointed it towards the oncoming attack. Ryuta smirked, seeing as his seal was doing its job and sucking in the jutsu, while Naruto still stood in the place from where he had attacked. But Ryuta soon noticed that his scroll was getting torn apart for unknown reason, so he quickly dropped it and used body replacement technique to switch his place with a log. Seeing Naruto still standing in his place, haven't moved a single step, he questioned, "Is that all you got?" Naruto just smirked and replied, "I don't need my all to defeat you." That was when he noticed that he was standing in a sealing array and couldn't move. "Uzumaki sealing body binding," Naruto exclaimed. "I can break this seal by the time you get here," Ryuta shouted, confident in his own sealing abilities. "Not if I am already here," said a voice from behind him. The Naruto standing in the field in front of him vanished with a pop and smoke, signifying the use of Shadow Clone. Raising again, Naruto shouted from behind him and aimed the attack on his back. There was a grinding noise of clothes being torn apart before the attack met his body, then exploded, causing him to get launched from the ground and falling a good distance ahead, unconscious. The Uzukage clapped his hands, seemingly impressed by the fight. "That was a great fight, my boy. You planned the whole fight from the start, didn't you?" questioned a now laughing Uzukage. "What does he mean, Tusan?" Kushina asked, not getting what had Naruto planned. "You see, Kushina, when the fight was about to start and he wasn't talking," Kushina noted. She too found that weird. While he wasn't speaking because he was molding chakra in his mouth to attack. If he was too early with the attack, then Ryuta would have just dodged it, as it would be too small. And if he waited too long, then the technique would become too dangerous and cause serious damage. So he had to time it perfectly and get it just right, so that Ryuta would be forced to perform a wind sealing technique. But why did the scroll get destroyed? Did Ryuta make a mistake with the sealing? Kushina asked, wondering how did the scroll get destroyed. "No, honey, this time it was her mother," who answered when Naruto brought his hand to his face. He added shurikens to his jutsu, causing the scroll to get ripped into pieces, forcing Ryuta to use the body replacement technique. "You saw the rest, didn't you?" Kushina noted yes. He made a shadow clone and went to hide. Kushina answered, but how did he know that was the exact place where Ryuta would appear? This time it was her grandfather who answered. He must have laid traps like that across the entire field, and as Naruto's shadow clone was still within Ryuta's sight, he mistook it for the original Naruto, and as he was still distracted by the clone, he didn't notice the original behind him. By the time he did notice, it was too late. "Isn't that right, my boy?" he said, the last part looking at Naruto in front of him. "You are partly right," Naruto explained. See, I am not the original Naruto either with that the clone poked itself surprising everyone present. I am the original. Naruto announced as he had used in transformation jutsu to disguise himself as a stone and was just now dropping the transformation. Naruto, how many of your clones were there? Kaido asked, as even he was fooled. Not many came a vague answer from Naruto, after which the field was covered in popping noise and smoke signifying the dispelling of all the clones. I had to make sure I win. So I did what I had to. Besides, Ryuta underestimated me. So it was an easy win. Now, am I allowed to go with Kushina? The last part was aimed at the Uzukage. The Uzukage side, we will be losing such a talented shinobi, but it can't be helped. A promise is a promise. You can go with Kushina to the Leaf Village. After having won the match against a Jounin, Uzukage Ashida Uzumaki had agreed to send Naruto with Kushina to the Hidden Leaf Village. But since there was still some days left for the convoy from Konoha to arrive, Naruto and Kushina had decided to forego their training and spend time with Kaido and Kanna till they left. Both of them couldn't be more happy as they would get more time to spend with the kids before they are gone for God knows how long. Those were one of the happiest days of Naruto's life. But like all good things, they too ended far quickly for Naruto's liking as the convey from Konoha had arrived. Naruto had yet to meet the people as it was Kaido who informed him of their arrival. They would be leaving with Naruto and Kushina a day later. So the day before, Kaido had decided to throw them a small going-away party. Even the Uzukage had attended it. By the end of the party, the Uzukage had gifted him and Kushina books on advanced Fuinjutsu and some scrolls containing his personal jutsus that he had created. Kaido had gifted them both 2 custom-made katanas, made by the best blacksmith that Yuzu had to offer. Kushina had gotten the one with the crimson blade while Naruto had got one with a black blade. Both the blades were in piece of art with a lot of detailing, focus, and hard work made into making them. They were apparently made by the highest quality of chakra conducting metal. Kushina's blade was named Shinku Kanton, Crimson Chaos, and Naruto's was Mugetsu, Moonless Sky. Both of them were very impressed and happy with the blade, but couldn't really use them properly, as they were still small in height, with Naruto reaching almost 5 feet and Kushina reaching 4.5 feet, while the entire length of both the katana were almost 4 feet. So they had to wait till they grow up to actually use them. Kanna had gifted Kushina a pendant which was in family heirloom, but didn't give Naruto any gift, and when Naruto asked why, she just answered, "I am giving my most precious thing to you, my daughter, take good care of her." While Naruto didn't understand what she meant by giving, he still answered, "I will protect her with my life," with absolute conviction, while Kushina just blushed hearing him say that again. The night went by fairly quick in Naruto's opinion. He still wanted to stay with Kaido and Kanna for a little while longer, and it couldn't be helped now. They were all gathered near the port where Kushina was still crying along with her mother while Kaido tried to console them. They packed all their belongings and scrolls along with the books and the swords that were gifted to them. Meanwhile, the team from Konoha had already boarded the ship nearby and were now waiting for their charge to board. Uzukage was also present. He had come to bid his granddaughter and Naruto goodbye. As goodbyes were said and promises to meet again were made, Naruto, along with Kushina, finally boarded the ship. Naruto was surprised to see a familiar figure standing there to greet them. Kakashi-sensei, Naruto thought, looking at the silver-haired man standing at the entrance, but the man didn't seem to recognize Naruto. He merely gave a smile and let him go inside. No, that's not Kakashi-sensei. It must be his father, Naruto thought. He had heard a lot about his sensei's father, Tsukumo Hatake. He was said to be stronger than the 3 Sanins combined, and boasted an infamous reputation for his role in fight against Suna. His fame and achievements overshadowed even those of the Sanins. This man was a damn legend in his time. Apparently, Tsukumo and his team were sent on a mission of great importance to Konoha. When his teammates' lives were endangered, he chose to abandon the mission in order to save them. The impact of the mission's failure caused Tsukumo to be defamed in the Land of Fire, the village of Konoha, and even by those he had saved. Dishonored, he fell into deep depression, which caused his abilities to suffer as a result. Eventually, he committed suicide and was later buried in the Konoha cemetery. After Tsukumo was done speaking with the Uzukage, he signaled for their departure, and soon the boat took off in direction of the Land of Fire. Tsukumo came and sat in front of them, introducing himself to the children. "Hello there, my name is Tsukumo Hatake. I am a jounin from Konoha. I like sweets, kenjutsu, and fighting for my village, my dream. Well, that's personal. So how about you introduce yourselves too? Nothing much, just you likes, dislikes, hobbies, dreams, and such. Naruto decided to go first. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like reading, training, eating ramen, creating new jutsus, spending time with Kushina here. I don't have many dislikes. My dream is to become the greatest ninja in the world. Sakumo just smiled and nodded at him. Kushina started next. My name is Kushina Uzumaki. I like ramen, my parents, kenjutsu, fuinjutsu, and playing with Naruto, and I dislike it when Naruto ignores to read books. She said this with a pout on her face, while facing Naruto, who just smiled nervously while looking away, and my dream is to be a ninja even greater than Naruto. She said this while pointing at Naruto. The rest of the trip was quite uneventful till they reached their destination. As the huge doors of the village came in sight, Naruto felt nostalgic looking at it after so many years while Kushina just stared at it in amazement, having seen nothing like it before. Welcome to Konoha, Sakumo said with pride in his voice. As we passed the village gate, the feeling of nostalgia intensified for Naruto. It looked so different, but so same at the same time. The village was bursting with sounds from everyone. There were merchants selling their wares, customers haggling for prices, children running around playing ninja. Naruto was so lost in his nostalgia that he didn't even notice when they arrived at the Hokage building. It looked same as it did in his time. They walked inside following Sakumo to the Hokage's office. They had to sit in the lobby while the receptionist informed the Hokage of their arrival. After a few minutes, the receptionist returned informing them to go inside. The Hokage office looked still the same, but the Hokage did not. The third didn't look the same as he did in his time. He looked younger, with black hair instead of gray, and he no longer had liver spots on his face either. He immediately smiled as we entered the office. Welcome to Konoha. Was your journey enjoyable? He asked in a welcoming tone. It was good, Naruto answered, holding back his urge to hug the old man. Please have a seat, he said, motioning to the chairs in front of his desk. Doing as we were told. The Sandaime first apologized. I am extremely sorry for doing this. I do not enjoy separating children from their parents. But we didn't have any other option. Midasama's days are numbered, and if we didn't have a suitable Jinchuriki to transfer the beast into, it would have caused untold destruction to the village. You have to understand we didn't have any other choice. With that being said, he came to the matter at hand. The transfer will be taking place tomorrow in the morning around 7. I know it's very sudden, but we have to make the transfer as quickly as possible, as Midasama won't last till the end of the week. She is growing weaker every minute of the day. Now that being said, Naruto, you will be joining the academy from tomorrow. That too starts around 7. You will be provided with your study material by the teachers there, and after Kushina has rested enough, she will join you too. Since Yuzukage has informed me that you and Kushina are both well trained in basics ninja arts, you will both start the academy from the final year. If you pass, only then will you be allowed to be genins. Both of you will be provided with an apartment to stay, and a monthly allowance will be given to you by the village for your day-to-day expenses till you have become a genin, after which you will have to complete missions to earn your pay. Is that acceptable? The Hokage asked after finally finishing speaking. Why can't I go with Kushina tomorrow for the sealing? Naruto asked. That's because the sealing will take around 6 hours, during which time lots of the Nine Tails chakra will leak. This chakra is very corrosive to humans, so it is for your own safety. Additionally, the sealing itself needs to be done with extreme concentration. Any mistake, and we will have a very angry beast to deal with, Naruto noted, satisfied with the third's reasoning. Now this doesn't need to be said, but the status of Kushina as the Jinchuriki is a top secret. No one knows about it except some of my trusted ninjas. Disclosure of this information is a high crime punishable by imprisonment or worse, Hokage explained with a serious expression on his face. Right, no talking about the Nine Tails. Understood, Naruto said nervously, and Kushina nodded her head in agreement. Good, the third said, smiling again, like he didn't just threaten some kids with imprisonment. With that, he pressed a button on his desk, and a ninja entered. Follow him. He will take you to your new apartment. With that being said, Naruto and Kushina left the office with Sakumo still inside, giving his mission report. The apartments which they got were next to each other, and Naruto was pleasantly surprised that he got the same apartment which he had when he was still a kid. So, After helping Kushina unpack in her apartment, he went to his own and unpacked his own. After freshening up, he sat on the sofa thinking, now that I have some privacy, I can continue reading all those books without having to keep looking over my shoulder. As he had closed his eyes in contemplation, there was a knock on the door. Getting up to see who it was, Naruto was not surprised to see Kushina standing there. I am bored, Naruto. Kushina whined. It's not even been an hour till we arrived here, Naruto said with a deadpan look on his face. I know, but I am so bored, she whined again, but then suddenly her eyes widened in excitement. Come, let's explore the village, Naruto just sighed, then turned back inside and switched off all the lights, then took the keys to his apartment and locked his door. Let's go. Kushina quickly ran down the floor. Did you lock your doors? Naruto inquired. She ran up the stairs again and back to her apartment to turn off the lights and lock the door. Roaming the street of Konoha, Naruto once again was lost in nostalgia until he smelled that exact aroma which he was so fond of. He suddenly grabbed Kushina's arm and pulled her in the direction from where the aroma was coming from. Ichiraku's ramen, Kushina read out. Let's go, he said, excited to taste his favorite ramen again. Tucci looked like a young man now. Gone were his wrinkles and gray hair. So what will you two be having? He asked with a smile on his face. Your best ramen, old man, Naruto yelled excitingly. I am not that old, muttered Tucci, and went inside to bring 2 bowls of ramen. This is so tasty, yelled Kushina after finishing a bowl. Bring more, old man, she shouted, following Naruto's example of calling him old. I am not that old. This time he yelled back, but there was no real anger in it. By the time they were done eating, both of them had eaten a total of 20 bowls. Naruto paid him since Kushina hadn't bought any money with her. Come again, Tucci shouted as they left while he started counting the Rios with a $sign in his eyes. We sure will, old man, Naruto shouted back. Damn brats, he said with a smile on his face, not really offended by them calling him old anymore. It was late evening by the time they left the shop and returned home. This was fun, Naruto. Kushina said we should do it more often. Sure, Naruto said with a smile on his face. They talked with one another till it was 9. Then Naruto suggested her to go and sleep. It was an important day for her tomorrow. At first she refused, but she relented after Naruto brought up the ceiling again. With her gone back to her room, hopefully sleeping, Naruto quick created 10 shadow clones and started reading the books given by the Soul King with his Sharingan active. By midnight, he had finished reading around 800 pages. Happy with his progress, he decided to sleep after dispelling the clones, causing him a mild headache, which he decided to sleep off. Naruto woke up at 6 in the morning, then quick went next door to wake up Kushina as she was a heavy sleeper. After waking her up, Naruto went back to his apartment and freshened up for the academy. Naruto dropped her off at the Hokage Tower for sealing and quickly ran in the direction of the academy. He went in school building and took all the important study material from the office from where a teacher escorted him to his homeroom. They were just in time, it seemed, as the teacher, Oda, was just getting the class attendance. As he introduced himself, most of the girls seemed to be swooning over his good looks, while some guys stared at him jealously. He recognized many of the students from their resemblance to their children's, like the Ino Shikacho trio. He even spotted his dad sighting near the middle on the right side. He decided to ignore him for now, as he couldn't trust himself to not act weirdly. So, he decided to sit on the opposite side of the room at the last bench. The room quickly quieted down as Oda-sensei started his lecture. Naruto decided to close his eyes and understand what he had memorized yesterday night, as he already knew everything that the teacher was currently teaching. After a few hours had passed, he was disturbed from his meditation by the teachers, shouting, "Why are you sleeping in the class?" yelled Oda-sensei. I wasn't sleeping, I was just remembering something. The entire class laughed as if he had just told a funny joke. Besides, I already know everything about what you are teaching, Naruto replied with a shrug. Oh really, Mr. Know-it-all, then will you answer my questions? The entire class immediately quieted down waiting for his response. The only response they got from Naruto was a shrug. Sure, why not? Who was the first Hokage? Hashirama Senju. The second Hokage? Tobirama Senju. Who was the founder of Konoha? Madara Uchiha and Hashirama Senju. The sensei then proceeded to ask questions related to every subject while Naruto answered every one of them. He even asked questions he had not yet taught to class, and some of them were even out of the syllabus, but Naruto still answered them. This went on for an hour, during which the entire class kept looking between him and their sensei as they played question and answers. By the end of it, the teacher was thoroughly impressed by Naruto's vast knowledge. This much is enough for now, the teacher finally accepting defeat. Just don't distract the class. Naruto nodded and sat down, closing his eyes to resume his meditation. The next time he opened them, it was due to the lunch bell. Since he hadn't bought any food with him, he decided to go to the cafeteria and buy some. On his way, he met many girls who tried to introduce themselves and ask for a date. Some outright asked him to be their boyfriend, but he just politely rejected them and continued on his way. As he was sitting under a tree eating his lunch, he saw 3 boys come near him. "That was very impressive, what you did back in the class," the boy said. Naruto just shrugged. "It was nothing." "Can we sit here?" the boy said, pointing to the space in front of him. "Sure. Why not?" Naruto replied. "I am Shikako, by the way. Shikaka Nara. This blondie here is Inoichi Yamanaka, and my big-boned friend here is Chozora Kimichi," Shikaku said, introducing themselves. "Nice to meet you." "Nice to meet you as well. My name is Naruto Uzumaki." "We know. So how did you know all those answers? Did you cheat somehow?" Inoichi asked, curious how he got all the answers right. "Hey, Inoichi, that rude to ask," Shikaka chastised his friend, "but how did you do it? I am curious as well." "I didn't cheat in any way. If you were wondering about that," Inoichi deflated at that, "I just like to read, that's all," Naruto answered. "You must have done some heck of a reading if you even know the mechanics of casting a jutsu," Shikaka muttered, still not believing Naruto knew something that advanced. Naruto just laughed in an embarrassed way. The 4 then sat talking about various things. Mainly Inoichi, Shikaku, and Naruto talked. Choza just kept munching on his chips. They talked for a few minutes, then the bell rang, signifying the end of lunch break. They quickly moved to the training grounds where they practiced how to throw kunais and shurikens. Here too, Naruto seemed to shine as he had attained a perfect score in every exercise. Followed by him in scoring was Minato, then Mikoto. The last time slot of the school was reserved for sparring. It was designed in such a way that only the person who won would be qualified to fight the next person. It was a test of skill, stamina, and strategy. By the time he had finished fighting, there were only 3 more left: him, Mikoto, and Minato. Minato had just finished his match. Whoever would win between Naruto and Mikoto would get to fight Minato. As Naruto stood before Mikoto, he couldn't help but recognize her from somewhere. "Mikoto Uchiha," she curtly introduced herself. "Naruto Uzumaki," he said, giving her a slight smile. "Have we met before? You seem familiar." She stood there without responding. Oh well, at least he tried. As he got into a fighting stance, he heard someone whisper, "Now that he mentioned it, doesn't Mikoto and Naruto look similar?" "Yes, I can totally see it. Just replace his hair and eyes to jet black and both of them would totally look similar." Naruto widened his eyes and turned around to see who said that. Not hearing his sensei say start, it was that damn Shikaku. Curse him and his damn intelligence. Naruto turned back to look at Mikoto, and she was right in front of him, her fist merely inches away from his face. Only through sheer instinct and speed was he able to redirect her punch away from his face and push her back using a palm strike to her chest. His eyes still wide with shock, he looked at her again, closely this time, and his theory was confirmed. She looked so familiar because he stared at that face in the mirror every morning. She is Sasuke's mother, he realized, and since he shared Sasuke's face, who possibly looked like his mother? His and Mikoto's face would be similar too. After realizing this, he tried to end the spar as quickly as possible before someone else came to the same conclusion as Shikaku. So with a quick dash and a chop to the back of her neck, he immediately finished the fight by knocking her out. The assistant teacher picked her up and took her to the infirmary. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. The class cheered for him. Next and final match, Naruto Uzumaki vs Minato Namikaze. Naruto Uzumaki vs Minato Namikaze. Minato stepped into the field and came to stop in front of Naruto. "You seem to be a genius, Naruto." Minato started, so knowledgeable in theory, an expert in ninja tools, and very well versed in hand-to-hand combat too by the looks of it. Really a true genius of the art, he further praised Naruto. "I am genius of hard work. Everything I have is gained through hard work and persistence," Naruto explained. That is quite commendable of you. It seems you are fit to be my rival, Minato exclaimed. Sure, Naruto laughed, just don't let my other rival find out about you. She will challenge you for that spot. With that said, Naruto got in taijutsu stance, followed by Minato. Begin, Sensei announced. None of the combatants moved from their place, both waiting for the other to begin. Naruto, gotten tired of waiting around, decided to start by dashing forward with a chop to the back of Minato's neck. I have already seen you use that move. It won't work on me, Minato spoke in a smug voice as he caught the attack with his right hand. I know was all he got in return, after which Naruto used the elbow of the blocked arm to hit him on the head, followed by a chop to his throat, causing Minato to hold his throat in pain. Not giving him any time to recover, Naruto quickly swept his legs from under him and twisted his arm behind his back, causing him to fall face first in the dirt. Yield, Naruto asked, but Minato still tried to struggle, so he twisted his arm more, causing Minato to finally yield. Naruto finally relented and eased the pressure, then with the same hand helped him up. You weren't the only one watching the matches. I watched yours too, and while you are definitely fast, if I didn't give you enough time to build your momentum, I could defeat you, Naruto explained Minato why he lost. Minato just rotated his shoulder to ease the pain. Now that I know that, I will beat you the next time for sure, Minato said with conviction in his voice. Good luck with that, Naruto replied while turning his back to Minato. I'll be waiting. With that said, the sensei announced Naruto as the winner and the final bell rang, signifying the end of the lectures for the day. Naruto quickly packed his bag and headed home as Kushina must have returned from the ceiling and would probably be hungry. So after finishing grocery shopping, Naruto returned back to his apartment, kept the bags inside, and made a clone to start making food and headed next door to meet Kushina. After knocking a couple of times, Kushina opened the door. How was the academy? Kushina inquired after letting him inside. It was okay, was his lame reply. How was your ceiling? It was okay, came the same lame reply from Kushina. Naruto just stared at her with a deadpan expression. Really? Hey, you started it, not me. Okay then, smartass. I was going to make food for both of us, but since the ceiling was okay, then I don't have to worry about you, do I? Naruto replied, trying to act angry at her. No, I was just kidding, alright. The ceiling was painful at the start, but the pain slowly faded away. Then all I had to do was sit there till the ceiling was over. And Maida-sama? She passed away as soon as the ceiling ended, Kushina answered with a sad smile, but quickly perked up again. But she taught me this cool technique with which I can restrain the 9 tails. As she said that, multiple golden chains made out of chakra protruded from her back. I had heard that she had this ability, but seeing it in person is quite different, he thought while observing the chains. Can I touch them? Naruto asked, wanting to know how they felt. Sure, why not? As he touched the chain, he could feel his chakra getting restrained in that entire arm. It is completely nullifying the chakra in my arm, Naruto stated. No wonder with several of these chains you could possibly restrain even the 9 tails. Kushina just swiped her nose and puffed up her chest. Aren't I so awesome? Let me see the seal, Naruto suddenly requested. Kushina was a bit confused at first, but soon relented and picked up her shirt to show him her stomach. Naruto stared at it for a while, then started explaining it to Kushina. It's an 8 trigram seal. It is made using 2 4-symbol seals. The seal is made in such a way that it uses the user's own chakra to seal the beast within themselves. But it is so basic that if the user loses control of the beast even once, it can take over the host and escape, killing him in the process. Naruto explained Kushina the working of the seal. I would suggest you not to use the Kyuubi's chakra till we can make a better seal which won't depend on the user's chakra. Kushina looked down onto her stomach where the seal was with worry. Don't worry, just leave it to me, Naruto assured Kushina. You have another problem to worry about anyways, Naruto continued, pulling down her shirt and getting up. What problem? Kushina asked, scared that something was wrong with her. Since so much of your chakra is interacting with the 9 tails to keep it restrained, it is causing severe fluctuations in your chakra flow, and the added chakra of 9 tails is not helping you any in controlling it. Kushina just looked at him with understanding and replied with "oh," while she didn't understand a word he said. Naruto sighed and explained it in simpler terms. Kushina, your chakra control is shorted. What? She asked, still not quite understanding what he meant. Just try to create 5 clones, Naruto requested, trying a different approach. She did as she was told and created 5 clones. What the hell? That took 5 times as much chakra and twice as long to create them. Kushina exclaimed. That's what I am saying. Since your chakra control is busted, you will require more chakra and more time to perform any technique. She was quiet for few seconds, then asked, what can I do to overcome it? Coming straight to the point. Your chakra control will never be the same again, as the fluctuations from Kyuubi's chakra will cause it to disrupt regularly. All you can do is reduce the power and frequency of the fluctuations using chakra control exercises, Naruto explained. You will have to start back with tree walking and water walking exercises and build up from there. From tree walking, Kushina exclaimed. Don't worry, it won't be so difficult to master again. You can use the shadow clones to accelerate your training, Naruto explained. I'll show you how to do it this weekend. Thank you, Naruto. You look out for me so much, Kushina replied with a small smile. I don't know how I'll ever repay you. Don't worry about it. Let's go and eat. The clones have just finished cooking. Kushina just nodded and followed him out. After having dinner, Naruto gave her his study materials, saying that he didn't really need it anymore. He sent her back to her room to study after that, so she won't lag behind everyone in the class. Naruto decided he needed to advance his Fuinjutsu level. Reading those Kido-related book, which he couldn't even use right now, would be a waste of time. He could use that time to learn something new instead. So with that in mind, Naruto made 5 clones this time and gave each a book on advanced Fuinjutsu and instructed them to dispel once they have finished reading it, while he practiced some new seals he had taught up in his free time. It was only 8 in the evening now. He still had 4 more hours to go till midnight. That's when he had decided to sleep. The next day, Naruto woke up early and followed his same routine from yesterday, only this time with Kushina present. Her introductions in the academy didn't go exactly as good as she had. In her nervousness, blurted out that she would become the first female Hokage and gained everyone's acknowledgement for mocking her. God, she is exactly like me when I was a kid, Naruto thought, smiling at her. Once her introduction was over, she came to sit beside Naruto, blushing the whole way. Many girls were shooting her jealous glares, but she just ignored them, thinking it was due to something she must have said. First female Hokage, huh? Naruto teased. I panicked, all right. I said the first thing that crossed my mind, Kushina whispered. Hokage Kushina Uzumaki. It has a nice ring to it. Tell you what, I'll support you if you really want to become the Hokage, Naruto offered with complete honesty. Kushina just smiled at him and nodded, thinking how lucky she was to have a friend like Naruto. By the break time, Kushina had figured out why girls were glaring at her. It was due to her close proximity to Naruto. She had quickly come to understand that Naruto had become a sort of celebrity in a span of one day due to his good looks and extreme talent for all ninja arts. During the break time, some girls had cornered her and were teasing her for her round face and her red hair. She had looked at Naruto for help, but he just shook his head and stood in his place. Finally, after having enough of the girls' teasing, Kushina took matters in her own hand and handled it the only way she knew, with violence. Due to this incident, she came to be known as the red-hot habanero. Why didn't you help me, Naruto? Kushina asked, with hurt and betrayal in her eyes. I don't want you to be dependent on me. Had I helped you there, they would have just bullied you when I was not present. I will always be there to help you, but I won't fight your battles for you. Naruto explained, do you understand? You have to learn to stand up for yourself, because girls like them will be everywhere, and they weren't bullying you because they hated you. Then why were they bullying me? I didn't even do anything to them. By now, Kushina was openly crying. Naruto quickly wiped her tears and hugged her. It's because they are jealous. They have no distinct features which makes them stand out in a crowd. They are jealous of you because you have such beautiful red hair and a cute round face. You think so? Kushina asked, wiping her tears and looking up at Naruto. I know so. Naruto let her go and asked her to go and wash her face while he waits for her in the practice area. The rest of the periods were uneventful, with Kushina proving to be in a constant tie with Mikoto for the 3rd place, with Naruto still coming first with a perfect score followed by Minato. Even during their practice match, they seemed to have knocked each other out, while Naruto still managed to defeat Minato. After the lectures were over, both of them went home, had some food, and were just relaxing when a messenger dropped by, asking them to visit the Hokage. Not knowing what it was about, they both made their way to the Hokage office. Now sitting on the chair facing the Hokage, who was watching them with a stern face, it has come to my attention that Kushina here is going around beating up girls. Their mothers are being very pushy and asking for your suspension. Kushina instantly widened her eyes, with an apology ready in her mouth sore, but she was cut off before she could finish. That's bullshit, Naruto muttered. Naruto, she was cut off again. No need to apologize to Kushina, Naruto replied, looking at the Sandame. He can't suspend you, even if he wants to, much less at insistence of some stuck-up ladies. You are a Jinchuriki and in Royal Uzumaki. As such, you are still not a shinobi of Konoha, but a citizen of Yuzu. If he is to suspend you, he will lose any power and control over you, and in turn, over the Nine Tails. Naruto explained. And if by any chance he does suspend you on insistence of some ladies and Yuzu finds out, they will order the leaf to return us back to them, then probably break ties with the village, and they can't afford to do that with a war on the horizon. Aminuchiha. The last part was said by Naruto with as much surprise as he could muster. Now, how do you know that, Naruto-kun? The Sandame replied with a serious expression. While first it was said in mock sternness, now he was in his business mode. No one knows about that besides a few people. After few seconds, when Naruto didn't answer, he continued, I am waiting for an answer. Well, when you mentioned about suspension, I knew something was up, because Kushina here could kill an entire class and walk away with nothing but a slap on her wrist. That's the power her status grants her. Naruto, that's not true. They'll probably throw me in a prison or much worse, execute me. He is telling the truth, Sandame intervened, still looking at Naruto. Kushina just widened her eyes and looked at the third with war on the horizon. We can't lose our best weapon or our alliance with Yuzu. As I was saying, Kushina is untouchable, so you wouldn't have called us for such a bullshit reason, and that only left me. So I quickly scanned your desk for any documents or reports regarding me. Then all I had to do was waste enough time till I read something useful. How did you know there would be a report? Sandame asked, impressed by the boy's intelligence. Well, you are a Hokage. You can't really point fingers at someone without any concrete evidence, much less at someone from a foreign village, Naruto answered. Now, I already know that you took DNA samples from my bathtub, he continued. First of all, EU, and secondly, that's a breach of privacy. But I still don't know what made you to take my DNA test in the first place. So you don't have all the answers, do you? The Hokage asked with a smug look. No need to SAS me, Naruto replied with a pout on his face. During one of your matches, someone commented that you and Mikoto Uchiha shared a striking resemblance to one another. It was overheard by one of the guards appointed to protect you. He reported the similarities between you two and suggested a DNA test. I did compare your photo, side to side with hers, and I too noticed the similarities myself. So I decided to run a DNA test. The Hokage paused, letting the tension build up. And Kushina asked, not able to handle the stress of not knowing. And the Hokage finally answered. His DNA matched with that of Mikoto, her mother and her father, but the percentage of matching was very low, meaning, while they were related to each other, their familial ties were like comparing to you and any other Uzumaki. He said, pointing at Kushina, since they are of the same clan, they would share a percent of their DNA with one another. So we had to run a cross-reference of your DNA with every alive Uchiha clan member, and none of them were close to a percentage as to provide to whom you were related to. So we increased our search parameter to the deceased Uchihas as well. Don't you people have anything else to do? Wasting time like this when there is a war on the horizon, Naruto remarked in a chastising manner. But he was ignored. The Sandame continued, do you know who your parents are, Naruto? Well, I knew my mother. She was an Uzumaki, since she had red hair and all, but I don't remember much of my father, since he died when I was 3 due to a disease, Naruto replied with a shrug. Are you willing to let a Yamanaka check your memories? Hokage continued. Naruto panicked for a second. Then he remembered that the Soul King had guarded his original memories, so he shrugged again and answered, sure, why not? The Hokage pressed a button, and a blonde-haired man entered the office. You weren't giving me a choice in that matter, were you, Naruto accused. He turned to Kushina and said after seeing this willy old man, do you really want to be a Hokage? The Hokage winced at the loss of respect in the child's eyes, but didn't say anything. Hey, you look like a Noichi, Naruto remarked while motioning to the man. Yes, he is my son. I am Inosuke. He talks a lot about you, Naruto just grunted and motioned for him to start while he laid his head on the back of the chair, where Inosuke touched his temples. Clear your mind. After a few moments, they both went stiff. You like him, don't you? The Sandaime suddenly asked Kushina. You don't have to answer that, he continued. If he is related to whom I think he is, then you are going to have a lot of competition. Better snatch him before someone else does, or you will regret it for the rest of your life. Believe me, I know, he said, thinking about his students. Did you too? Kushina started. Heavens no. I married the love of my life. I have just seen many people lose their chance because they waited too long. It's a friendly advice. Take it or leave it. It's your choice. After a few more moments, both Naruto and Inosuke relaxed and opened their eyes. He is telling the truth, that's all. Inosuke spoke. Okay, you are dismissed. After that, he quickly left the room. So, Naruto started. So the maximum percentage we got by tracing your DNA with the deceased Uchihas was with Madara Uchiha. Both Kushina's and Naruto's widened their eyes. Meaning Kushina started. I am Naruto continued. A descendant of the Madara Uchiha, the Hokage finished. You are a descendant of Madara Uchiha, the Hokage said. There was silence in the office for several seconds, after which Naruto asked, Are you 100% sure? He is the only one with whom your DNA matches more than 30%. Damn, Naruto cursed. How did I get related to Madara Uchiha? Naruto thought it must have been that stupid Soul King's handiwork. Isn't that a very small percentage? Kushina asked. No, actually, the Hokage started to explain, but was interrupted. But Naruto. Let me explain it. I can make her understand and easily anyway. The Hokage just nodded and motioned him to proceed. You see, Kushina, the DNA matching is a process in which a single strand of DNA is compared with another strand of different DNA. Naruto explained and looked at her, seeing her nod, meaning she understood. Naruto continued now. If the DNA matches the other DNA 100%, it means that either the same DNA was matched against itself or the two DNAs are of identical twins. If it matched more than 50%, then it means that the DNA is of a parent and their child. And if it matches more than 25%, it means that the two are related either as grandfather and grandson or uncle and nephew. Now, the DNA matching which was done for me and Makoto would have probably matched by around 0.05%. If your and mine DNAs were to be matched, they would be around similar percentage as I am in Uzumaki, and so are you, and we all share that same small percentage of DNA. Naruto explained. Do you understand now? While 30% is usually small, but in this context at all, but confirms that I am either Madara's grandson or his nephew. Okay, I think that I understand it now, Kushina said, nodding her head at Naruto. Very well, explained Naruto. Hokage said, thoroughly impressed. It's hard to believe that a 12-year boy is so knowledgeable. Do you study medicine too? Is that really important now? Naruto asked. As the Sandaime got completely off topic, let's get back to the matter at hand, old man. I am not that old. The Hokage snapped. See, there you go again, completely going off the topic. Is the old age finally getting to your head? Have you gone senile? Why, you little? Aren't we going off topic again? This time, it was Kushina who spoke. Naruto just rubbed the back of his head in embarrassment while the Hokage climbed down from his desk on which he was standing, ready to strangle a 12-year boy to death. After coughing into his hand and sitting down on his chair, pretending like the last few seconds hadn't just happened, the Hokage spoke again. So what will you do with this information? Nothing. I guess. Naruto shrugged. It's not like the entire village needs to know about it. I'll just sit on it for now. And what will happen when you activate your Sharingan and someone sees it? And knowing who your forefather is, you definitely will activate it, the Hokage pointed out. I'll just kill him, her, and blame it on Kushina, Naruto said, pointing at Kushina, who stared at him in shock. You will what? People will think I am a crazed murderer, Kushina screamed at Naruto. Don't worry, the Hokage will cover it all up. People will never find out about it, Naruto replied, nodding towards the Hokage. He will never do that, Kushina screamed. Oh dear Kushina, you really don't understand your political power, do you? Barring high treason, nothing you do will get you more than a warning and slap on your wrist, And even if you do commit treason, the most likely punishment you will get is being house arrested. Kushina looked in shock, waiting for the Hokage to disagree, but he never did. And what happens when the entire village finds out about it? The Hokage continued. Naruto answered with insanity in his eyes and an evil smirk. I'll unseal the Kyuubi and let it destroy the village. Ha ha ha, followed by evil laughter. Then, I'll have to kill you, here and now, before you destroy my village. As he said that, he slowly started to get up. By now, Kushina had started to shiver with fear in her seat, her eyes open wide and on verge of tears, her mouth quivering as she tried to speak, but no words would come out. Her hands were gripping the armrest of the chair till they turned white. Bring it on, old man, Naruto said with a smirk on his face. Then, the Sandaime bursted out laughing and fell back on his chair. Kushina looked at him and then at Naruto, who was now rolling on the floor laughing his ass off, with shock clearly written on her face. He kept repeating, "Did you see her face?" while rolling on the floor. Kushina finally realized that she had been punked, and she was not happy about it at all. As Naruto was still rolling on the floor laughing, he never saw Kushina get up from her seat, or how her hair started to flow up looking like 9 different tails, or how her pupils turned to slits. The Sandaime saw this and immediately shut up. He tried to warn Naruto of his impending doom, but was too late. Naruto. Followed by that shout was the sound of bones creaking and wood breaking. The Hokage's guard immediately sprung into action and bursted inside the room with weapons drawn, only for them to see a huge hole in the center of the room, with Kushina glaring down at it, and the Hokage taking cover behind his chair. Noticing them, he immediately came out from his cover and signaled them to stand down, pretending like he wasn't just hiding behind a chair just now. He coughed in his hand to get back their attention. I think we will be needing a medic, he said, looking down the hole, and a good one at that. You think? Everyone present thought. When Naruto opened his eyes again, he noticed that he couldn't move his arms, legs, or even his head. Looking up at the white ceiling and the smell of antiseptic in the air, he concluded that he was in the hospital and it was mid-afternoon. Naruto closed his eyes to remember how he got here and quickly remembered that he had teased Kushina a bit too much, but remembering that face, Naruto couldn't help but start laughing again. Even doing that seemed to hurt a lot. He heard someone walk in but couldn't see who it was. Fractured skull, broken nose, broken jaw, fractured spine, 8 broken ribs, cracked pelvis, fractured arms and legs. The figure spoke. It was a female, judging by the voice, and he seemed to recognize it from somewhere. There's nothing in you that isn't broken, the figure informed. What did you do? Jump off the Hokage mountain. As Naruto was about to answer, someone else walked in. You alive in there, Naruto? By the voice it sounded like the Hokage. Naruto didn't answer, but when he knocked on the plaster, which he was covered in from head to toe, Naruto couldn't help but groan. What was he doing, sensei? The female, he now recognized as Tsunade, asked. He played with fire, and the fire burned him. Hokage replied, Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And Naruto? He said to Naruto, again knocking on his plaster. Naruto just groaned in pain and finally replied, totally worth it. I hope it was, else the giant hole in my office would be for nothing. He did that? Tsunade asked, remembering the giant crater in his office. Oh no. Sarutobi replied with a laugh. He was the one that was blasted through it. I am surprised he survived that. It looked quite dangerous, that hole. Yeah, I am surprised he is alive too. After he took that punch and landed 2 floors beneath. That too without any defense on his part. Impressive, Tsunade said. Any other 12-year-old kid would have died instantly on the first impact. I know, right? Sandaime commented. Can you two please leave me alone? I would like some rest now, Naruto groaned. Even speaking hurt. Sure, both of them walked out, but Sarutobi returned. Oh, I almost forgot. I told everyone that you are an Uchiha. You know I can't keep something like that a secret. The backlash of it, if it came from someone else, would be catastrophic. But don't worry, I have not informed them of your parentage. That's your story to tell, not mine. With that said, he quickly walked out. Naruto just groaned and closed his eyes to rest. The next time he opened them, it was dark outside and someone was sitting beside him, and from the red hair, he already guessed it was Kushina. He groaned to signify that he was awake. Man, Kurama's healing would have been extremely helpful now. Naruto thought. Kushina immediately got up and came to his side, tears falling from her face. Oh God, I am so sorry, Naruto. I didn't mean to hit you so hard. I just got so angry and I couldn't control myself. Please forgive me, she said, crying. It's all right, Naruto groaned. It's just a flesh wound. I'll be okay in no time. Kushina paused her crying for a second and looked at his plaster-covered body. Yeah, a flesh wound, she muttered under her breath. The Hokage explained why you were trying to make me angry. It was to test the strength of my seal, wasn't it? Kushina asked, by now having stopped crying. If she could see his face, she would know how surprised he was. I was not trying to test any damn seal. I was just being an ass and making fun of her. Good thing Sandame thought of a good reason for our childish behavior. Yeah, don't worry about it, he muttered. I'll make it up to you. Here, I bought some food for you. After that, she proceeded to feed him. Now, Naruto felt really bad for being mean to her. The next morning when he woke up, he could feel Tsunade checking his body for improvement. After completing her checkup, she replied, you have healed from most of the broken bones. You should thank your lucky stars that you are in Uzumaki. Because of your strong life force and natural regeneration, most of the damage was healed within a single week. Most people would have either died or been crippled for the rest of their life. You would just be able to leave after 2 more weeks. Instead, Naruto just groaned hearing that. Anyway, there are some people here who are eager to meet you, Naruto just sighed. He heard 3 people enter after Tsunade left. He recognized 2 of them immediately as they came in his line of sight. One was, of course, Kushina, and the other was Mikoto. The third was a middle-aged man with distinctive Uchiha features. Good morning, Naruto. My name is Kagami Uchiha, and as you already know, this is my daughter Mikoto Uchiha. And this one must be your guest, he said, nodding towards Kushina. I am the head of the Uchiha clan, and I would like to ask you a few questions if you don't mind. Naruto just groaned. Assuming that as a yes, he started with his questions. First, how did you get so badly injured? Were you fighting someone? Although he noticed Kushina stiffen at that, he didn't think much of it. Ceiling accident, Naruto wheezed out. In the Hokage's office? Kagami continued skeptically. I was showing him some prototypes, Naruto answered, and they may have backfired on me. Kagami nodded in acceptance, believing him for now. And what is this I hear about you being an Uchiha? Did you hear it from the Hokage? Kagami nodded. Then he must have told you my story. It was validated by Yamanaka too. I didn't even know about it till he himself informed me. Who were your parents? Where were you born? Do you have any siblings? Kagami asked in rapid succession. Naruto just groaned. Just go and ask the Hokage. As you have noticed, I am not in any condition to answer so many questions. I already have. I just want to hear it from you. Then go and ask the Yamanaka. He was in my head. He knows it too. Did that too. The story checks out. I even saw the lab results and made them redo it using new DNA samples. They too prove that you are an Uchiha. Quite a doubtful one, aren't you? Naruto remarked with a small laugh. One can never be more careful. Touché, Naruto replied. Now, if that is all, my jaw has started to hurt with so much talking. For now, this is enough. Come meet me when you get better with that. Kagami walked out, leaving him alone with the 2 girls. So how did you really get injured? Mikoto inquired. Kushina punched me really hard because I was teasing her. There was silence in the room before Mikoto started laughing and walked out of the room, saying, fine then, keep your secrets. I'll give you some tips, Kushina. Naruto started as soon as Mikoto left. Here's the first one. If someone asks for the truth, tell them the truth first, followed by lies. That way they won't be able to figure out which one's the truth. You are quite talkative for someone with a jaw pain, Kushina remarked. What's some pain? If I get to talk with you, Naruto replied in a teasing manner, not seeing Kushina turn red or hear her say baka. The next week passed by fairly quick with Naruto's classmates visiting him to wish him good health and such. But he didn't waste time just sleeping on his bed. He had started to train his chakra to get it denser so that his techniques would become more potent. He did this by accessing his mindscape, which had transformed from a sewer to a huge white mansion which had many rooms in it. By using his knowledge of chakra and human psychology, he had discovered that the state of the weather around the mansion reflected his state of mind. If he got angry, then there would be hard winds. If he got sad, then it would rain. If he was happy, then it would get sunny. The mansion itself represented his will, his dreams, and his ambitions, while the rooms in it represented a piece of himself. The only rooms he had really checked were the library, where his knowledge was stored, a large room with a huge screen where his memories could be replayed, and the hall. Most of the other rooms were still locked, and those that were open showed him a part of himself which he was not yet ready to accept. So the only place he stayed was the hall, which contained a huge fireplace the size of a small house. There were vents which branched out from the fireplace and spread across the entire house. He had guessed that these vents were his chakra pathways, and the fire itself was his chakra. The flame burning was very huge, but it was not spreading in an erratic manner. It looked like a flame of a candle in an enclosed room, calm and controlled, just like his chakra was. Naruto theorized that the state of the fire represented his chakra, and since he had excellent chakra control, the fire too was controlled. Using his will and his mind, Naruto had started to compress his chakra, and it showed in the fireplace too as the size of the flame slowly began to decrease, but its brightness and the heat it gave off didn't. It increased instead, signifying increase in his potency of chakra. He had to be very careful in doing this exercise, as applying too much force would cause his chakra to go out of control, and too little will give no result. He had managed to reduce the total size of his chakra by 1/4. In turn, he gained more potency and control of his chakra. This was all he did in his time at the hospital, which was 3 weeks. Sarutobi and Kushina had come to meet him on his day of discharge. They were all sitting in Tsunade's office as she gave him a final checkup. "This is weird," Tsunade remarked with a frown on her face. "Is something wrong with him?" Kushina asked, worry evident in her eyes. "Your chakra, He didn't let her finish. "You noticed?" Naruto asked her in a surprised voice. "Of course I noticed. I am a medical professional," Tsunade replied. "Do you notice anything different with his chakra?" she asked the other occupants in the room. Kushina just shook her head in negative while the Hokage took a closer look at him. "His chakra seems to have decreased," he finally answered, "but I just assumed it was due to his long stay in the hospital." Tsunade replied, "That's true in many cases, but not in his. With how damaged his body was, his chakra must have been in overdrive for a week or so to heal the worst of his injuries, which should have caused it to increase as it was worked so hard, not decrease." "Is it harmful to him?" Kushina asked, worried. "Well, no. His chakra seems to have increased in its potency, and his control over it should have also increased. It's almost as if he was doing." Naruto interrupted her. "Chakra control exercise. But wasn't he in a full-body plaster?" Kushina asked Tsunade. "Don't you need your entire body to do these exercises, like trees walking and water walking?" It was again Naruto who answered, "That's not true. Those two are the basic exercises. As your control over your chakra increases over a certain point, these exercises don't help anymore. In short, the more control you have, the less physical the exercises gets," he explained. "What I was doing these past 2 weeks was an advanced form of chakra control exercise. All it needed was my mind." "That's really very impressive," Tsunade said. "And it's not exactly easy to impress me. Say, Brat, if you want to learn medical ninjutsu, my doors are always open for you." "I'll keep that in mind." With that said, Naruto, Kushina, and the third came out of the hospital and made their way to their apartments. "Naruto, I had decided to promote you to Genin rank. The teachers at the academy agreed with me on this too," the Sandame started, "but that would make me seem partial to you. So I have decided to conduct an early exam in the academy. Only 3 students will be qualified to become Genin in it. They will also get a choice as to who becomes their teacher and will be trained by them personally, but the exams itself will be very difficult and will be conducted by my students." "Cool. When will the exam be held?" Naruto asked. "In 2 days. The students in the academy had been informed 2 weeks prior, so that they could prepare." Sarutobi had expected him to explode with anger, but all he got from Naruto was a shrug and a "seems fair." With that said, the Hokage went on ahead. Kushina informed him that the Hokage had forbade her from telling him about the test. Naruto just nodded and replied that it would have been useless for him knowing about it anyway, since he couldn't move his body at that time. They both went back to their apartment to prepare for the exam. 2 days had passed, and the time for the exam was near. Naruto had mainly trained his body for the past 2 days to get back in his top shape. As he reached the place where the exams were being held, he immediately noticed the future Sanins. The rules of the exam were explained by Orochimaru. Naruto resisted the urge to kill him right there, but he couldn't as Orochimaru had not gone on his destructive path yet. The exam was time and points-based and consisted of 3 segments. The first was a written test consisting of 20 multiple-choice questions conducted by Tsunade, which would be of 20 points, 1 point for each right answer. The second was target practice, which was of 30 points conducted by Orochimaru, and the last test was of ninjutsu, conducted by Jiraiya for 30 points, where the students had to show 3 different ninjutsu other than the Academy thought ones. The remaining 30 points were to be given based on how much time they had required to finish the test, meaning less the time, more the points, making the total of 100 points. Sitting on his desk waiting for the first test to begin, Naruto looked around him and saw everyone getting nervous for the test. Few minutes later, Tsunade entered and passed closed envelopes to everyone with the help of Chunins, who would monitor the time of individual students from start to the finish and note down their target practice scores. As soon as Tsunade shouted begin, the timer was started and students immediately opened their envelope and started their exam. Naruto completed the first part of the exam fairly early, i.e., in 2 minutes. The next part was completed in 5 seconds, as he jumped in the air and shot his shurikens in such a way that they bounced off of each other and hit the bullseye on each target, even the ones which were behind cover. And finally, for his final test, which also took 5 seconds, he created 2 shadow clone who each did a single hand sign and shot out a ball of compressed air and a fireball of his height in the air above, while the original used a Rasengan on a training dummy, completely obliterating it. His final time was 2 minutes and 10 seconds. After he finished his exam, Naruto stood outside for a few more minutes. The test was not that difficult. For someone with prior experience in being a ninja, this test would be too easy, but considering it's for academy students with no real experience, it was fairly difficult, he thought. Soon Minato came out. Following him closely were Kushina and Mikoto. Kushina immediately came to him, followed closely by Mikoto. They talked for a while, after which Mikoto informed Naruto that her father had asked to come visit him after the exams, blushing the entire time and not making any eye contact. Before he could ask her about her weird behavior, the rest of the students came out. Soon, following them out were Tsunade and her teammates. Without wasting any time, Tsunade announced the results. Naruto Uzumaki 100 points, time 2 minute 10 secs. Minato Namikaze 85 points, 5 minute 20 sec. The third one is a tie between Kushina Uzumaki and Mikoto Uchiha, 75 points, 5 minute 35 sec. The rest of you have failed. Try again in the original exams. After Naruto had passed the exam and created a new record for the highest points in the lowest amount of time, he seemed to be just roaming around the village with nothing to do. As he had finished the academy, he didn't have anything to prepare for right now, and apparently Kushina and Mikoto had somehow become best of friends. As they were both having girls' time at the apartment, he decided to give them space. As he was passing the bathhouse, he heard that perverted giggle he always associated with Jiraiya during his research time. Passing around a corner, Naruto found him giggling perversely while peeping in the baths, with the binoculars in one hand and a notepad in his other, no doubt writing porn. It instantly brought a smile on his face from the nostalgic scene. Jiraiya had apparently been a pervert long before he had met Naruto. Deciding to have some fun, he sneakily came up beside him and asked him, enjoying the show. Jiraiya just said yes, very much indeed, without even looking back to see who it was, and by the time he turned to look at Naruto's face, he had already been pushed down in the bath, where he fell with a loud splash. Changing his voice to match a girl's, the Naruto immediately screamed, "Eh?" A peeping Tom. With his work done, Naruto quickly left the bath, so he wasn't caught there too. As he walked away, he could hear Jiraiya's screams, begging for mercy. It was afternoon already, so Naruto decided to go to the spot where Jiraiya trained him, near the river. The entire way there, he felt eyes on him. After reaching the spot, Naruto turned around and spoke in a loud voice, "You can come out now." At first there was no movement, but Jiraiya soon came out from his hiding place. "How did you know I was there?" he asked. Since he had completely masked his chakra, there was no way for Naruto to know that he was there. "I could smell the perverseness off of you," Naruto said with a smirk on his face. "So what do you want, Jiraiya?" "Oh, you know about me, the gallant Jiraiya. Then let me properly introduce myself to you." Then he proceeded to do his over-the-top introduction, with the toads and all. Naruto just kept a straight face, making Jiraiya look like a fool. Naruto repeated the question he had first asked. What do you want, Jiraiya? I have come to be your sensei, Jiraiya said, sighing. No one appreciates his intros. But I didn't ask for you, Naruto replied. Come on, Brad. I am the great Toad Sage. More like pervy sage, Naruto interrupted, but Jiraiya continued, ignoring the remark. I was trained by the Hokage himself, and I can train you to be the next Hokage if that is your dream, Jiraiya said, trying everything to convince Naruto to let him be his sensei. I'll even let you sign the Toad summons. This gave Naruto a pause. Getting back the Toad summons would massively help him in the future. Okay, sure, but if your teaching is not satisfactory, I will leave, Naruto agreed. Okay, fine. You'll see how great I am, Jiraiya boasted. Meet me at Training Ground 7. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. With his part, said Jiraiya, left with the sunshine. Naruto decided to meditate near a tree as the peacefully greenery helped him calm down. As he was walking towards his apartment, he decided to have some ramen. He had definitely earned it with his performance in the exam. When he reached Ichiraka's ramen, Naruto was surprised to find the Hokage there, waiting for him. Taking a seat beside the Hokage, Naruto ordered a bowl of ramen. Congratulations on passing the exam. That was quite a record you set, the Hokage praised. I worked hard for it, was Naruto's only reply. Is Jiraiya a good teacher? Naruto asked after a few seconds. During his time, all Jiraiya did was peep on women and taught him to manifest a bigger Rasengan in his training period. He is one of my best students. Did he ask you to be his apprentice? Naruto nodded. I can tell you that he is a strong shinobi since I trained him myself. Naruto nodded again and begun to eat his ramen, which was served to him. Are you thinking of accepting? Naruto nodded again as he finished his broth. This was the 5th bowl he had since they started talking. Naruto ordered another bowl. I said that if he is a competent teacher, I'll accept, else I'll walk away. And I asked you if he is a good teacher, not if he is a strong shinobi. Both of them are different, Naruto pointed out. Him being a strong shinobi just tells me that he had an excellent teacher, not that he is a good teacher himself. I'll take the compliment, but I don't know how good he is as a teacher. You will be his first pupil. By the end of the conversation, Naruto had already finished 10 bowls of ramen, while the Hokage was still on his first. Naruto got up, then thanked Teuchi for the food and started to leave. You didn't pay, the Hokage called him out. I thought it was your treat. Anyway, thanks for your advice and for the food. Within, Naruto ran out, giving him a peace sign. Damn brat, the Hokage muttered, but still paid his bill. It was already evening when Naruto reached his apartment. He thought of checking up on Kushina, but since she was not in her room, he assumed she was with Mikoto. They were really becoming good friends. So he entered his room, not thinking much about it. Later, as he was freshening up, there was loud banging on his door. Opening it, he found a disheveled Minato standing there. Kushina and Mikoto are kidnapped, Minato shouted. At first, Naruto began to panic too, but then he calmed down and asked, did you see it happening? Minato just nodded. How many attackers? 3. At least I only saw 3. They initially wanted to kidnap only Kushina, but after learning about Mikoto being an Uchiha, they kidnapped her too. They were from Kumo. Did you inform the Hokage? No, there was no time. He shouted again. Calm down, Minato. He went back inside and bought a piece of paper in his hand. Take this. It will point you toward Kushina. Now go. I'll inform the Hokage and bring back up. Minato looked surprised but nodded and left. I guess this is the moment they fall in love, Naruto thought, remembering his mother telling him the story of her kidnapping. Guess I'll go and inform the Hokage. X with Kushina and Mikoto prior to the kidnapping. X. Both of them were returning from the forests which surrounded the village. They had decided to sneak out to explore the woods. Kushina knew it was a bad idea, but since Mikoto, being a clan heir, wasn't allowed to leave the village till she at least became a genin, and Naruto, being so overprotective, didn't allow her to go anywhere without him, they had decided to rebel a bit. So what's it between you and Naruto? Is he your brother or your boyfriend? Mikoto asked out of the blue. No, it's not anything like that, Kushina exclaimed with a blush, but calmed down after taking few deep breaths. He is not my brother. I've known him since my childhood. We met when I was 7, and he has been with me ever since. So there is nothing between you two? Mikoto pressed. Why are you asking this all of a sudden? Kushina asked with the blush returning on her face. As you know, I am a clan heir, and my father's only child, and since the Uchiha clan is patriarchal, only men become the clan head. So whoever marries me becomes the next clan head, and right now the candidate for my husband is Fugako Mikoto explained. That prick? Kushina said with a sneer. She never liked that stuck-up asshole. He acts so arrogantly and always behave like he has a stick up his ass. Mikoto just laughed and nodded. Yes, he does, but his family holds lots of political power and sway in our clan, making him the only possible candidate for the marriage. This was the case until Naruto was discovered to be an Uchiha too. Kushina widened her eyes, now understanding where this was heading. Him being an Uzumaki and an Uchiha just boosted his rank up, and that's without even considering how genius he is and how powerful he will become when he grows up. There are also talks going on that he is being groomed to be the next Hokage. Kushina widened her eyes further. This was all news to her, but it did make sense since he already had an Hokage-level intellect and knowledge. Plus, I think he looks cute, behaves in a friendly manner, and is way better option than Fugako Mikoto explained. Kushina thought back to the Hokage warning her about this happening, but she had just ignored him thinking he was pulling her leg. But now that the situation was really happening, was she prepared for Naruto to leave her and focus on another girl? The answer she got was a resounding no. No, so you don't have any romantic feeling for him, right? Mikoto asked with a smile on her face, happy she will probably get him. No, that's not what I mean, Kushina explained. I have always liked him, but I didn't want to risk what we have now. So I never made any move on him, thinking there will be a time in future where he will propose me himself, or I'll at least be brave enough to confess my feeling by then. But now that I know I'll lose him, I won't give up without a fight. Kushina exclaimed with conviction in her voice. So you will be my rival in this too, Mikoto asked. I guess I will be. Kushina finished. There was silence between them, which was broken by the sound of kunais flying towards them, which they dodged. I was wondering when you two would finally shut up. 3 ninjas dropped surrounding them. I was wondering when you would finally show yourself, Kushina remarked, not at all surprised by their appearance. Oh, so you knew you were being followed. What gave us away? The Kumo ninja inquired. The silence, Kushina answered. The ninjas looked puzzled by what she meant. There were no noises of the birds or the insects, and we are still in a forest. It could only mean that there was someone hiding in the trees causing every other insects and birds to move away. This was one of the tips Naruto gave me. Impressive, but both of you are still surrounded, so I guess not that impressive, the ninja smirked. I had planned to send a Kage Bunshin when we fought, but I guess that won't be necessary, Kushina said, now smirking too. Minato has already gone to bring backup. He was hiding in the trees too for some reason. But he seemed to have noticed you 3 and went back to the village to call for backup, but I won't be needing that. Taju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. The field was filled with hundreds of Kushina's clone, who all proceeded to jump on the 3 ninjas, while Kushina and Mikoto made a run for the village. After a few seconds from their retreat, there was a huge electrical explosion which caused most of the clones to pop. On the way, they met Minato, who informed them that reinforcements would be arriving soon, as he had informed Naruto of their situation. Deciding to stay and fight the ninjas, they all turned around and went back the way they came. Minato managed to finish one off quickly, catching him off guard with his speed and thrusting the kunai in the ninja's throat. The others quickly moved in to attack him, but he was saved by Kushina and Mikoto, both jumping in and blocking the attacks. He moved in to attack the one on the right, while Mikoto jumped back to give him space. They quickly separated the 2 ninjas so that they could take on each at a single time and don't get blindsided by the other. Using teamwork to their advantage, Mikoto managed to kill one, while simultaneously activating her Sharingan due to the stress. The final ninja, realizing that he was fighting a losing battle, tried to make a run for it. But he was quickly captured by the Umbu, who had all surrounded and restrained him, ready to take him for interrogation. But he just smirked and bit down on the cyanide capsule he had hidden in his mouth. He killed himself? Kushina asked in shock. Most ninja don't want to get caught alive in enemy territory, the Umbu explained. Where is Naruto? He was also coming, Kushina asked. He had already left when we were dispatched, the Umbu answered. I am here, Naruto answered. He was holding a body in his hand, and I have bought a gift, he said, putting it on the ground. Minato informed Naruto they have cyanide capsules in their mouth. He probably bit it and died. Nope. Naruto answered with a pop at the pea. I knocked him out before he could even react. Then took out the pill from his mouth. Naruto said, holding up the pill, I am not an amateur. Only they make such mistakes. Kushina, Mikoto, and Minato all looked at the Umbu, who just stood there awkwardly. Did I miss something? Naruto asked, scratching his forehead. One of the Umbu just coughed and moved forward. We will be taking him, he informed. Then they all vanished in a sunshin. Naruto, how did you know there was a fourth? Mikoto asked in amazement. I just assumed there were more than 3. Their mission was probably to capture Kushina alive. Those 3 would act as a distraction, while the other would kidnap her and run back to the border. It's a basic tactic used for suicide missions like these, Naruto explained. Anyway, let's get moving. It's still a long walk back to the village, Naruto said as he started walking forward. After walking some time, Mikoto asked Naruto the question they were both wanting to ask. So, Naruto, what types of girls do you like? Naruto looked at her in surprise. Where's that coming from? This time it was Kushina who answered, nowhere. Just making a conversation. Right, Mikoto? The girl in question just nodded. Meanwhile, Minato just walked behind them, glaring holes into Naruto's back. I am not interested in girls. Before he could finish that sentence, Kushina jumped up screaming. You are not interested in girls? Meaning you are interested in boys? How could you do this to me, Naruto? Mikoto looked at him in shock. Her savior from Fugako played for the other team. No, she would not accept this. She would change his mind and make him hers. Meanwhile, Minato's expression had changed from glaring at him to relief. Good. So he still had a chance. Then it changed to horror. What if he likes me? I had even declared him as my rival. Naruto looked irritated as he looked at all of their expressions. Kushina's was hurt for some reason. Mikoto's looked like that of utter determination, and Minato looked relieved. Weird. As I was saying before you interrupted me, Naruto started, I am not interested in girls right now as I am still 13 and just became a genin. I'll think about it when I get older. But I guess I can tell you which types of girls attracts me. After learning that Naruto did in fact like girls, both of them calmed down, while Minato had started to glare at him again. Well, I am not much for physical beauty, but the heart and soul must be beautiful. She must be kind-hearted and must be a good cook. That's a deal-maker for me. If I like her cooking, I might as well like her, and I guess long hair. There is just something about long hair that just pull my strings. They both looked at their hair and smiled. Now that enough off this girly talks, I may even change my preference later in my life. So Kushina, how did you like my graduation gift to you? Naruto asked, while pointing at her hair clip. Kushina touched the hair clip. It was a simple black with engravings in it. It actually has tracking seal on it, so I always know where you are. How romantic, Minato answered in a sarcastic voice. Naruto didn't understand why Minato was being so rude to him with all his glaring and sarcastic comments, but decided to drop it for now. The rest of the way was spent in relative silence. When they reached the village gate, a ninja appeared saying that the Hokage wanted a briefing of the situation. Minato volunteered, since he knew everything about the incident. When they reached the apartment, Kushina stayed back with Mikoto, saying she wanted to discuss something with her. Naruto just nodded, deciding to give them privacy, and went towards his apartment. Kushina and Mikoto stared down each other. Fierce silence was finally broken by Kushina. Look, he said he is not interested in dating anyone right now, so why don't we stop pursuing? We will wait till he is 17. By then all of us would be more mature and have experience in dealing with situations like this. And we never know. Our infatuations with him may even fade by then. Kushina tried to reason, plus I think Minato may have a thing for you. He followed you all the way to the forest, then even fought with the ninjas that were trying to kidnap us. Or he could be interested in you, Mikoto pointed out. I was not the only one there, remember. You were also present. Kushina widened her eyes in realization. That situation could also be true. He could have just been following her. But we have never even spoken that much. How could he possibly come to like me? Kushina countered. He could just be shy. Mikoto suggested, look, there is no point in discussing this. He must have heard us when we were talking about Naruto. When we meet him again, we should tell him to keep quiet about it. We can then ask what he was doing following us in the woods. Sounds good? Mikoto proposed. Okay, that sounds like a plan, Kushina agreed. Until then, we will keep our feelings from Naruto a secret. Promise? Makoto asked. Kushina thought for a while, then agreed. Then that settles it with her part, said Makoto, started to walk towards her compound, while Kushina returned to her apartment. While Kushina and Makoto were having theater talk, Naruto was getting ready for the bed. That was when Naruto felt a tingling on his right upper arm. Checking it out, he saw that the Soul King's seal had appeared again. Applying chakra to it, excited what he would get this time. He was pleasantly surprised to find 2 scrolls popping out. Opening them, he found that they were summoning contracts, but didn't know of whom they were since it was not mentioned anywhere on the scrolls. Naruto really wanted to summon whoever these contracts contained, but decided this was neither the place nor the time to do so. He just signed his name on the contracts and sealed them back in, deciding to check them out tomorrow. He heard Kushina's door open and close, signifying her return. He thought to check up on her, but since it was very late and she must be very tired from the recent ordeal, he decided against it and went to sleep. Tomorrow will be a very interesting day, he thought as sleep finally took him over.